How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you had a good weekend. Set up for the week. Lots going on. We'll get to all of the NHL, some MLB news. Of course, first pitch of the season gets going this week. Wow. Seemed like it was just yesterday. The Blue Jays were in the World Series, and now they will start the quest, a long quest to get back to the World Series with all the other MLB teams. I'm Jason Gregor. As always, the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. You can get in your tickets for daily for $55 million for tomorrow's Lotto Max. $55 million and 4 Max Millions. So get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. NHL action. Lots has changed since Friday. The Oilers lose again to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can't beat the Lightning very often. And there's some frustration, I think, is mounting in Oilers Nation. So we'll touch on that. The Anaheim Ducks, not official, but the Ducks have put themselves in a really good spot to win the division. They're 4 points up on Vegas. They got a game in hand. They're 5 points up in the Oilers with a game in hand. Now, the Oilers do play the Ducks Saturday afternoon in Edmonton. That's pretty much a must-win game for the Oilers if you have any hope of catching the Quackers. And in between then, they're in Utah tomorrow. Then they're in Vegas. Huge game on Thursday night. I would think Tristan Jarry is going to start one of these two road games for the Edmonton Oilers. And we'll see where it goes. No Leon Draisaitl this week. Curtis Lazar is eligible to come off of LTIR after the Vegas game. He's cleared. He's ready to go. So I would look to see him back in the lineup on Saturday. Trent Frederick, no update really on him. So I don't expect him to play this week, at least on the road trip for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll get to all that NHL. You see the Nashville Predators are suddenly in a playoff spot. They've won 4 in a row. Meanwhile, the Sharks have lost 4 in a row. The Kraken have lost 3 in a row. And the Nashville Predators have jumped all of them and the LA Kings, who are, just kind of win 1, lose 1, win or lose 2 kind of record for the Kings. And, man, the Preds, they're suddenly in a pretty good spot. 2 points up on LA. No games in hand. And they're 4 points up on the Kraken, who have 1 game in hand, 5 points up on the Sharks. Sharks have 2 games in hand. And how about this? The Preds are in the Central Division, but they might as well be in the Pacific for the rest of the season. They play the Sharks 3 times down the stretch in their final 12 games. They play the Kings twice. They play the Ducks twice. So they got a lot of games in the Pacific Division against those teams that they're battling with in LA and San Jose specifically. So things looking good all of a sudden for the Predators over in the Eastern Conference. Columbus is now in a playoff spot, 3rd place in the Metro Division, 1 back of the Penguins, but they're tied with the Islanders. The Islanders have played 1 extra game. Both teams have 26 regulation wins. Then the Detroit Red Wings find themselves out of a playoff spot. Whew. They were first in the Atlantic on January 1st. They were second on February 1st, and now here they are. They're out of the playoffs. But they do have a game in hand on the Islanders, so if they win that, they would jump over the Islanders. The Ottawa Senators, the only team with playoff aspirations in action tonight. That's the only game in the NHL. They're taking on the New York Rangers. Safe to say it's a must-win game for the Ottawa Senators. You win, and then you're 2 back of the Islanders with the game in hand. You're 1 back of Detroit, and it is game on. And guess what? Tomorrow night, that's where many of you will be out of town scoreboard watching, because Ottawa is in Detroit tomorrow. Boston hosts the Maple Leafs. Montreal is hosting the Hurricanes. You've got the Blue Jackets on the road in Philadelphia. The Islanders are hosting the Blackhawks. Games in the Western teams. The Kraken, how about this? They're in Florida. Adam Larson, former Oiler, he'll play his 1,000th game. But bigger story is Paul Maurice will coach his 2,000th game tomorrow night. He'll become only the 2nd coach in NHL history to coach 2,000 games. Scotty Bowman, 2,141. So is Paul Maurice going to coach for 2 more seasons? If he is, he'll break the record. So we'll see if that's, he started at 28. That's, you got to coach a lot of games, man. So good for him. You also have tomorrow the Preds and the Sharks. Obviously a big game. The Golden Knights are in Winnipeg. The Kings are in Calgary, Edmonton's in Utah, and the Ducks are in Vancouver. So this week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, really is where the majority of games are played in the Western Conference. So 15 games Tuesday, 13 games on Thursday, and then a boatload of games again on Saturday. As we welcome into the studio, former Edmonton owner, our Monday co-host Sean Brown joins us. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. It was a good weekend. We had our Strathcona minor hockey coaches, managers wind up weekend, so that's it was nice to kind of sit back, have a few drinks, and watch everyone enjoy themselves.
Well, yeah, why not? Probably not enjoying yourself if you're watching the Oilers game. Actually, it wasn't that bad of a game. It's 2-1. They get a 5-on-3. Bouchard hits the crossbar. Then I think the power play is getting a little too anxious. McDavid tries to come in 1-on-2, gets knocked over. They turn the puck over, and then Moser with an unreal pass to hit Kucherov coming out of the penalty box, and he scores shorthanded, and boom, to go from maybe 2-2 to 3-1. It's kind of good night, Irene. And that really swept the game over. And, after the game, Connor McDavid had some really complimentary things to say about Tampa, and a lot of people felt like, well, he's ripping his own coach. I could see how some people would have thought that. Even McDavid admitted that. He was just saying, hey, we all got to be better. Yeah, coaching could be better. But I really thought he was talking about Tampa Bay, but that was a rare game where McDavid's line got crushed. They were the one line who got crushed. Possession-wise, goals against-wise, it was not a great game for them.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely frustrated. I mean, he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he has such high expectations of himself, and he puts so much pressure on himself to be good, and those around him as well. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, he wants to be in a situation where he can win the cup. He signed a contract, and which more or less, I forget how he worded it, but he wanted to see kind of where the organization is going. So yeah, I mean, he's a competitive guy. That's a good team for sure. They defend well. They take away time and space very well. They are well coached, and they, just like every other team in the NHL, have their moments where they have their breakdowns. But it just seems like to me, right now, with the teams that come in here that seem to be ahead of them in the standings, or are a little bit, their game have found their game, just have that ability to just, it's not, they find the game quicker, right? It doesn't last for 3 or 4 shifts. They don't play perfect by any means, but they're able to get back to their game a little bit faster than what the Oilers seem to be able to do at this point right now. I mean, they've shown glimpses, throughout the season and at different times that they can play, as well as other teams, as far as taking away time and space, checking, shutting guys down. But yeah, there's some frustration. I mean, it's coming down the stretch. He's trying to find his game. He wants to get to, I'm sure, a certain level individually, and he wants to see the team get there as well. So, it's probably a good idea that, they're getting on the road right now, and, hopefully they can kind of find their game where it needs to be.
Well, I look at it and, okay, Kucherov's on fire, but it was funny. You look at that game, and there's a few things come out of that game. Number one, I really like Nurse and Murphy's game. That might have been the best game they played together in the minutes. And Darnell Nurse played more minutes against Kucherov than anyone. Outshot him when he was on the ice, didn't give up any goals. I really like that line, that pairing. And then today at practice, you had him split up. And I'm like, the way Jake Wallman's playing, I'm sorry, Jake Wallman right now is a third pair defenseman.
He's struggling.
Yeah, and I played Nurse with Murphy, and I played Bouchard with Ekholm. Just keep your top 4 together and tell Wallman to figure it out. Like, there's really no reason to switch other than that.
Yeah, I mean, those guys should be a good pair, right? They should be a pair that, any team that comes in to play the Edmonton Oilers should, it should be a heavy, hard night and uncomfortable to play against. I mean, you see it when McDavid and Draisaitl and the top players, when they're playing against the top teams, they don't make it easy for them. They make them, they try to make them, when the hits are there, they aren't obviously worried about, if they're the superstar or what player they are, but they make them pay a price. And those two guys on the Edmonton Oilers, when, top forwards or top players on other teams come in, they have to make it just as difficult for them to play. But yeah, they just, right now, I think defensively, Wallman, if you watch him, like, it's hard. You can tell he's struggling handling the puck right now and making some plays. Right now, I think everything's kind of happening very fast for him right now, and just having the ability just to kind of settle it down a little bit and just simplify his game and just make that easy play right now until he can kind of get a little bit more confident in his game and his puck handling. Because I mean, he skates well, he handles the puck very well, but right now he's definitely fighting it. But I think for the Oilers, to have any success, those two guys, Nurse and Murphy have to be a physical presence. And the one thing I really liked about his game is the fact that he got in there and, not that he has to fight, but he has to be a guy that's willing to get in there, stick up for his teammates and make guys feel uncomfortable. So it was nice to see him, getting his first fight and having that physical part of his game.
What did you make of McDavid's comments about Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I mean, he's just, like I said, that after a game, he's a very emotional player. He was just coached by them at the Olympics, so obviously he has a ton of respect for him as a coach and deserves a lot of respect for what he's done in the game. It doesn't, I don't think it makes it any easier. I think just because of him being Connor McDavid, that everybody's going to listen to what he has to say. He's the leader of the team. And I think we've seen this before. We've had, not only him, but some other players kind of say some things that maybe they would probably like to walk back and usually do kind of take back the next game or the next day. And I wasn't down there today and I didn't hear a whole ton about it, but he obviously didn't want it to be taken out of context. And so, he's frustrated. He wants to get his game and he wants the team to find their game. And with it coming down the stretch here, this is why he's the leader of the team. This is why this guy's so good, is because he's just, he's never satisfied.
You look at the Oilers and, Leon Draisaitl maybe comes back for a game before the end of the regular season. My sources tell me they fully expect he'll be ready to go for the playoff run. Until then, though, you obviously McDavid's line's got to go, but Jason Dickinson's really given you like a third line guy or maybe even a second line center guy. I'd like to see him play even a few more minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think, coming down the stretch with some injuries, and if they're going to go on a long run, the more guys that are going, the better. There's parts of his game that I like, and there's parts of his game that I think he's still trying to figure out. Obviously, coming to a new team, it does take a little bit of time, but he obviously gets around the ice well, skates well, can defend well. It can be hard to play, hard for other teams and their top guys to match up against. So, I think, like I said, bringing him in here was the whole idea of it was to take some minutes away from some other guys and kind of spread it out. So, he's given them some options. I think the play of, Szymanski looks good. He looks like he's moving his feet really well. Obviously, Savoy, just love the way he's playing, and Podkolzin continues to, be consistent in his game and play hard. So, as Dickinson feels comfortable and starts to get a few more minutes and earns that, it just alleviates a little bit because now, especially with Draisaitl being out, you're going to lean on McDavid a little bit more. I know he left the ice, early today in practice, and he's gonna get a lot of ice time coming up in a lot of different situations. And I think it's important for Nugent Hopkins and Dickinson and Hyman and other Kapanen, to continue to find ways to eat up minutes just to kind of spread it out a little bit.
2:15, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you. Coming up on the show today, Kevin Woodley will join us right away. George Larac will be by. Jimmy Murphy talking some Bruins. We got Spec. Connor Clattenburg will join us forward for the Bakersfield Condors. Finally back playing. We'll kind of talk about his rehab and what he's looking forward to at the end of this season. And more importantly, what did he learn from his brief stint in the NHL that he feels he can work on in the offseason to become an NHLer regularly next year. We'll get to all that and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen, as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle. CTV Sundays. Television's most captivating love story continues on Sullivan's Crossing.
It's hard to focus on the present when you're still looking at the past.
But the road ahead takes an unexpected turn.
But I thought you'd mentioned being married before.
Well, that's changed since then.
Morgan Cohan and Chad Michael Murray in the drama that asks, is true love enough? An all-new Sullivan's Crossing, Sundays on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/serve.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Show it's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. They wrap up the regular season this weekend at home, Friday night at 7, Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and then it is playoffs. So enjoy the final regular season games. Get your tickets, sgsaints.ca. as we get to our big guest, Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm good, boys. I'm good. Winding down on an 8-game homestand here in Vancouver, which, as you can probably guess, with the way this season is going, is about as miserable as it sounds.
Yeah, it's the death march in Vancouver, buddy. I've done many of them. They're great. No, I'm being facetious. It sucks, no question. The fans don't like it. The players really don't like it. And I know people always look for different things. Oh, look at this. They're trying this, they're trying that, yada, yada, whatever. You just want to get the season over at that point. There are lots of playoff races, though, that are intriguing to watch, and lots of teams, kind of splitting goaltending duties. You look at the Buffalo Sabres, and they've had an unbelievable run with 2 goalies. Now, some always say if you got 2 goalies, it means you don't have a number 1 goalie. Where do you come out on Buffalo's goalie situation?
Well, it's going to require somebody having a little willingness to do things differently, because Buffalo's goaltending situation is 2 number 1 goalies. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, since the Olympic break, is playing at a top 10 level. Alex Lyon isn't far behind him. Alex Lyon was the one that started this all. Actually, ironically, coming off the bench in Edmonton, if you guys remember. It was, I believe it was a shot to the head that Colton Ellis took. Alex Lyon hadn't been playing. He was just there to back up that night. He came in, made a couple saves late in a period, and basically started this whole thing for the Buffalo Sabres. Went from an afterthought to a guy who was playing regularly for them. So, Jason, me, I disagree with the idea that if you have 2, it means you don't have a 1. And I think for a team that's smart about how they manage this, like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon are 2 totally different goaltenders.
Yeah.
So you could play hot hand. You could also be like, hey, like, the other team has identified something and they're getting to something that is, playing away from the strength of one. Well, throw in the other guy because he's totally different. Like, try and pre-scout those 2. They couldn't be more opposite. I mean, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is massive. He plays a conservative depth, but he still moves well. Alex Lyon paints around the edges, and he reads the game at an incredible level. He will make decisions out there on the ice that are based entirely on anticipation and read. And he does it. Like, we've had the pleasure of having on an In Goal and our pro reads where you break down video. And the way Alex Lyon anticipates and sees the game is like, it's another level. And UPL's learn from it. So to me, I look at it like you got 2 guys on a heater. You have 2 options who are both playing well. And they happen to play styles that would force another team to change their pre-scout. Like, I don't know how you don't use both. Unless you throw one in game 1 and he is so lights out good and never fades, I don't know how you don't use both guys if you're the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, that makes sense a lot. Now, one team that doesn't have 2 is the Boston Bruins. And, man, I'm looking at Jeremy Swayman. I know you look at a lot like goals saved above expected and everything else, Kevin. He's right up there. And his performance the other day against Detroit, it was amazing. Basically won Boston the game. I look at Swayman, and I know he's probably not going to be in the Vasilevsky or Sorokin conversation, but, man, has he had a good year for Boston. He's probably the main reason they're still in the hunt.
Yeah, he's worked himself up, into, especially since the Olympic break. He's been a top 5 goalie since the Olympic break. He's worthy of all the Vezina conversation around him since coming back from the Olympics, as much as the Olympics didn't necessarily go great for him. And overall, he's worked himself into that top 6 in goals saved above expected by ClearSight's numbers. Not as flattering as some of the public stuff that has him, chasing Sorokin and Thompson at the top of the league, but really, really good nonetheless. He's right there neck and neck with Andrei Vasilevsky in terms of his performance for the season on a whole. So, he's been that good, and he's the kind of guy that's shown like he did in that Detroit game. There aren't many guys where you're like, hey, this guy could win you a series or get in another team's head. Like, I don't know how many guys stand out that way. Like, it's a short list. Sorokin, Vasilevsky. Swayman's got the ability to do that. His patience on his edges, the way he holds edges and doesn't commit down. The fact he's never out of a play. He's got that sort of really nice blend between, almost like being a how-to DVD on how to play goalie, but the willingness to abandon it and just go to athleticism, just not too prematurely. Like, he doesn't put himself in those situations early, but when he needs to, he'll break technique and go for a sprawl, right? He'll open the car doors, dial 911 and do whatever it takes. but he gets there so much later in sequences because of his ability to keep his knees sort of under him, his edges under him, and not end up flailing and sprawled prematurely.
Coach Knobloch talked about getting Jari in a game on the road trip. What are some of the things that would maybe go into, making a decision on, what game and team he gets in there?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could look at past success, and I don't have it in front of me in terms of either their schedule or who he's had his best success against. There is something to be said about certain buildings or certain teams just feeling comfortable for a goalie. I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about what your team does in front of you, but anything you can do right now to build confidence. So if they've got an upcoming team where it's like, hey man, he's owned these guys, or in this building, he's played his best, and you have some numbers to back that up, and you have a conversation, it's like, so a lot of guys can't explain it. Like, I don't know why, but I just feel like I see the puck here, or I don't know why, but I know this team. I know what's coming. I read very well off them. So if you can find one of those, great. Other than that, like, I think part of the problem, and let's be honest, and I know you guys are on board with this too, like, it's not all goaltending. We know that. The defensive play hasn't been there, but like, part of the problem right now is I'm a little bewildered by the need to name Ingram your starter. And then you play him a bunch, like, because it changes the role and it changes the expectations. We've talked about that in the past. Like, there's so much we can sort of see in terms of the tangible numbers, but we can't see between the ears and what expectations and raising expectations can do. And so it seemed like a shift in conversation that everybody could see anyways, that didn't necessarily need to be declared. And, I do worry a little bit about overplaying him and what happens there. Like right now, since the Olympics, 66 goalies have basically gotten a start, and Ingram's dead last. Ingram is 60th, Jari's dead last. Like, as the starts have piled up, his game slipped a little bit too in terms of the results. So mixing Jari back in, like, just to have a second option as you see things eroding not necessarily in his game, but at least in his results, like, finding an opportunity to get both of them going here a little bit would probably be prudent. Now it's on Jari to sort of show that he can be better than the numbers showing he's been, especially since the Olympics. But as the other guy sort of creeps down towards that territory, I'd want to try and find an opportunity too. Like, again, it just feels like the sum can be better than the parts if you get both of them going. And I know they have to perform to sort of justify that, but I'd be looking for that opportunity. If things are going well in practice and he feels good, I'd be looking for that opportunity sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, you got Connor. They play in Utah and Vegas. They got 2 games this week. Utah tomorrow, then Vegas on Thursday. I know that Connor Ingram is part of the Utah organization. Maybe that plays a factor. Jari has never played against Utah in his career, and he's 5-2 against Vegas. I looked it up. He's 2-1 in Vegas. If that matters, obviously, it's a while ago, but we'll see. I think I could see. I said it last week. I thought Ingram would start the Utah game, Jari would start the Utah game, because Vegas and Anaheim are your 2 biggest games of the season, 2 teams you're battling for. And if you've announced who your starter is, then your starter usually plays in the bigger games. But they might say, hey, we'll go Jari Thursday because they have an afternoon Saturday game after traveling Thursday night.
Yeah, I can tell you who I'd want to play from a results standpoint. Like, if you're looking to build the confidence, like Vegas is sort of controlling play, but not necessarily. Like, they're generating a fair bit of quality, and not like they're kind of Carolina light, not as to the extremes of Carolina. Like, they're not out shooting like Carolina did Seattle 35-15, but actually getting beaten in the high danger chances. But there's a lot of games where Vegas will outshoot a team like by a 3-2 margin, like 30-20, and give up the same amount of high danger chances. And for a goalie, you want to be the one seeing 7 high danger chances on 30 shots and not the one seeing 7 high danger chances on 20 shots. And so Vegas's opponents get to be that guy. That's the way they're profiling right now. For as much as good as their underlying numbers are, the goaltending is struggling with that sort of low overall shot count, but higher high danger. And if you're the goalie on the other end, whether it's Ingram or Jari, like, that's a really good way to build confidence. Getting a whole bunch of low danger chances, it gets you into games. And that's kind of the way Vegas is playing right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd say Jari against Vegas and Ingram against Utah.
To your point of if Ingram's your number one, and again, like I can make the argument both guys need a confidence boost right now.
Yeah, no, that's very valid. Now, looking at those teams, what about the goaltending in Vegas?
Hasn't been good. Aiden Hill's been a little better of late. And again, like I think the goalies are struggling with not being busy, and Aiden just hasn't had any traction on this season. Again, better of late, but every time he takes a couple steps forward, like his numbers are near the bottom of the league for the season. Coming out of the Olympics, like I said, they're a little better, but not great. Akira Schmid is right down there, same numbers as Connor Ingram since coming out of the Olympics. So if Ingram's 60th, Akira Schmid is 59th. And Aiden Hill's 51st. Like they're all well below expected. Everybody that's played there. Carl Lindblom had some of the best numbers, and he only got 2 wins earlier in the season when Aiden Hill was out. So Carter Hart, this is going to be the hard part for them. I think Carter Hart's going to be ready to go before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're locked in a win every night, fight for the playoffs or playoff position, or just fight to stay in the Pacific side of things and not end up in the wild card and having to face Colorado in the first round, when do you find time to get him in? Even if you think he might be your best option come playoffs, how do you get him warmed up for that? I don't know if maybe a conditioning stint works, but then again, like that's not the same style game. So there's some big decisions to come for Vegas in goal. I talked about this, I think, with you guys earlier too. Like it's interesting that they find themselves where they are with Aiden Hill, because I know there was a point before they re-signed him to this big contract, and it's been a struggle to live up to it since, where they were in on John Gibson in Anaheim. They were having that conversation. So there was some doubts internally if they were having that conversation about Aiden Hill long term. When they couldn't land somebody else, they went to him long term, and right now it's just not working out. So they're a really good defensive team. Like I said, they're unique in that Carolina way that they don't ask their goalies to make a lot of saves, but the percentage of high danger is higher than a lot of teams. And some guys just struggle to live in that world mentally.
Okay. So they give up a little bit more quality than quantity is what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't give up quantity at all. But like I said, like they'll have nights where they only give up 15, but 6 or 7 are high danger. They generate 30, but only 6 or 7 are high danger. Like you end up with a whole bunch of discrepancy on the shot clock, but not very much of a discrepancy on the expected goals clock. And, as we talked about with Carolina, and Brandon Bussy's coming back down to earth in Carolina as well right now. It's a really tough thing to manage mentally. I don't have any answers for it. Like in theory, less shots would be easier. But when there's such a high percentage, like even just seeing your save percentage, even when you're feeling great about your game, but your save percentage is tanking because of that, you don't get those easy shots. Like there's just a lot of different elements that make it difficult for a goaltender. And this is the other thing, like if you're one of those teams, like I don't have a way of identifying that other than to look for other guys that have been behind a similar profile, and not many teams have it, that have had success. Like it's hard to sort of know who can handle this and who can't. It's hard to plan for.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, there's a little bit of talk about goalie interference, and obviously, as we come down the stretch here, more guys are only going to go to the net, and obviously in playoffs, it's going to be that much harder. Where are you at, and how much of goalies have equipment? Like guys are going to be going to the net. How much does a goalie actually have to deal with in your mind?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I could go back to my original thoughts on this. I said at the time when they went to video reviews for goalie interference, it was just going to actually lead to more contact on the goaltenders. Because in the past, here's how it used to go. And I used to have this conversation with goalies around the league. They'd get hit, they'd get bumped, they'd get clipped. They'd talk to the referee after, and the referee would say, well, if the puck had gone in, I wouldn't have allowed it to count. And the argument then, and I think the argument stands now, is just start calling goalie interference. Because, yeah, you're right. Like a bump in the pads. I was shocked at the Ottawa decision in terms of that contact in the crease. I think it was against Anaheim and Ville Husso, and it was clearly at the edge and in the crease, and it was before the puck arrived, and I was shocked that was allowed to count. Is he getting hurt with that contact? No. But it's when the guys go through full speed, and that's where you run the risk of, and we saw it in the playoffs last year, just clipping a guy's helmet going through there. Like that's the stuff that I think the review process has made it easier for guys to do that because they're not worried about getting penalties. Like, I think if you had just started by calling goalie interference as contact in the blue ice, you would have deterred a lot of this. I think the fact that at worst a goal might come off the board doesn't do enough to dissuade it. And so there is a risk element. Like I said, like not a ton of injuries, not all guys are getting hurt by the little bumps. But it's once we get into the playoffs and you get guys cutting through with speed. We saw it on Stolarz last year. I know there was the Nurse McKinnon thing and that, you know, the arguments there, like the pace he's going in, like even if he's turning his toes up ice, like I don't know if he can avoid that contact. He's one of the best skaters and players in the world, but that pace into the blue is where you worry about. That was a pretty violent collision. That's where you worry about the injuries. And I just don't think we've done enough to dissuade that contact overall by going to review in the first place. Because like I said, I called it at the time, but then now allowing contact and goals to stand regardless. I think it's setting up for the potential for a lot more contact in the playoffs and a lot of chaos. And if you're a team, like, what do you do now? Like, how do you even know what to challenge? Like, how do you know? You can end up shorthanded. Like, we've got stuff that in everyone's mind seems to be clear-cut goalie interference being called not goalie interference. So how do you challenge that when the line is so gray? So yeah, I think you could have solved a lot of this by just putting guys in the penalty box when they run into the goaltender more often. But we are where we are, and I'm fascinated to see where it goes because I think it's probably going to end with a crucial goal in a crucial game decided in controversial fashion.
Kev, as always, buddy, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. We will chat with you again next Monday. Have a great week.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from InGo Magazine and NHL.com. Lots to discuss, so we'll get to the. Hey, where would you start Jari? He's going to start one of the two. So which one? It's very simple. Utah or Vegas, and tell us why. 833-401-1440. We'll shoot that around next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still don't care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No self-proclaimed titles, no iPads, no trips to Vegas or hockey jerseys, just a really good deal. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Euphoria returns for an all-new season, and you can only watch it on Crave.
If you make a deal with the devil, there's no turning back.
Now's the time to catch up on the groundbreaking HBO original Critics' Call, one of the most explosive, heartbreaking, and entertaining shows on television. Starring Emmy winner Zendaya.
No matter how hard life was, it got harder and more complicated.
Euphoria. Catch up before the new season, April 12th. Only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.244 as we roll through Monday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown to you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, and of course, sports all in one place. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca. And while you're there, you get the Jason Gregor Show Odd Boost Daily Specials, where, of course, only one game in the NHL tonight. You got that. And a little NBA. The Toronto Raptors rolling. Could they continue? Find it out. Check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of texts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. We asked a simple question. Tristan Jarry is going to start. They're playing 2 games on the road. They're in Utah tomorrow. They're in Vegas on Thursday. Which game will he start? Which game should he start? Maybe the answer is the same. Maybe it'll be different. Brownie, you've coached. Which game is he starting? Which game do you think he'll start?
I think he starts the next one. I mean, he's sat out, 5 games?
Yeah.
I think it is, right? I mean, obviously he's, done a lot of work on the ice in practice and a lot of watching. And I think ultimately, if the Oilers are going to have success, he's going to have a lot to do with it. I would get him in there right away. I don't think there's, I get what Kevin's saying. I mean, there's stats and analytics and all that stuff that, can help you maybe prepare or put a guy in a situation that might be more favorable depending on where he's at confidence wise. But I mean, this guy's a pro. This guy's, he's I think he's been an all-star. Like he's a veteran goalie. Right. So I would get him in there right away. I wouldn't be scared to put him in there just based on the fact that, things aren't going great, but he's a pro. He's played a long time. So I'd get him in there right away.
Yeah. See, the fact that I had him against Utah anyway last week. And you look and say, hey, you got 2 divisional games. They've lost their last 2 games. It's kind of an easy one for me. I think Jari starts tomorrow. That's who I'd start him against. And then, you know what? You go into Vegas. It's a divisional game. It's potentially for second place. Like the Anaheim Ducks have created a little bit of space here down the stretch where, you know, they could, if they take care of business and don't flounder. Now, obviously, Edmonton plays the Ducks on Saturday, but before then, you got to win your games if you're the Edmonton Oilers. And Tristan Jarry, like, I don't believe he's just an awful goaltender. Like, I don't think he's terrible. He has not played very well in Edmonton. There's not much debate about that. He hasn't played a game since the Dallas game. So not a full 2 weeks, but just under 2 weeks. And, you know, Connor Ingram's come in and he's gone 2-2-1 in his 5 starts. And his last 2, he's allowed 8 goals, 4 goals in each game. I'm going Tristan Jarry. I think it's kind of an easy decision.
Would you have put him in if Connor won? Would you still make the swap?
Well, he was going to play either way.
Yeah.
Right. Had they beaten Tampa Bay and Ingram played really well, I might give him the former team. But I still would have played him. I can't start my starting goalie. Like, Hellebuck doesn't start 8, 9 in a row. Like,
yeah,
I don't
eventually
think
he's got to get in.
Yeah, eventually you got to do it, right? Like, there's no reason. It's not like Connor Ingram's numbers are so off the charts good that you can say there's no chance that Tristan Jarry can push him for the job here. So, you know, Tristan Jarry's got to play better though. Like, there's no debate, right? Like, you look at his last few starts when he's starting games, it has not been good, right? Like the start in Dallas wasn't. Now the team sucked. So let's preface that. I thought the team sucked in Dallas. Carolina didn't get much help, although 2 of those goals against Carolina I thought were pretty ugly. Anaheim game, same thing, wasn't great there. Calgary game wasn't great. You know, like I'm trying to think back to the last good start Tristan Jarry had, and when would it have been? Like, I guess his last good start probably would have been the New Jersey game, January 20th. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
So this is like over 2 months now. So the onus is on Tristan Jarry here. Yeah, the team has to play better team defense. I don't debate that. But Tristan Jarry's got to pull some of his own weight here.
It's always on the player, but just this little bit of time and him being a professional. I mean, I'm sure you can tell he's not happy with his game, and you can probably tell that things have probably been a little bit miserable. And there's no, I mean, what athlete hasn't been in this situation? It's not always great, but you're just banking on the fact that, you know, this guy has a lot of motivation and he's a good goalie. There's a reason why they made a trade for him. So this could be good timing too. I mean, right now they're, you know, obviously as a team, they're very frustrated. As a team, I would probably be looking at that at this as an opportunity to kind of rally around each other, knowing that the guy's, you know, not necessarily feeling great about his game. I'd be excited to get, you know, if he was to get an opportunity in that would excite me, knowing that, being like, hey man, I want to do well for this guy, for a teammate. So this could be something that he needs. It might be even something that the Oilers need. And I think it's nice too that it's on the road. Right? Yeah. Obviously, you know, the pressure that comes with playing at home and in front of your home crowd and stuff like that. So I think the timing is right to get him in there. It's been 5 games. I don't think you want to wait too long before you know, you want your potential number 1 goalie getting back.
And if Jarry plays well in Utah, then the Anaheim game becomes maybe a hey, who played better conversation, right? We'll see. Now, maybe they want it, maybe not. Maybe they're just going to say, hey, Ingram's our starter. If he plays well in Vegas, he's going to play well again automatically, and we'll see. But I think if Tristan Jarry plays well in Utah, at least it opens up the conversation that next week he can play again rather than waiting 2 more weeks.
Yeah. I mean, don't you feel like if the Oilers are going to go on a run, do you feel, I feel like Jarry is going to play a big role on this with this team, no?
Possibly, yeah, because it's not like Connor Ingram hasn't played out of this world that says there's no debate. Right now, he's clearly played better than Jarry. I don't think there's much discussion on that. So Jarry is starting right now. He's got like one good start. Well, hey, that would be progress because he hasn't had a good start. He had a good relief appearance in Colorado, but he hasn't had a good start in 2 months. So now, and that's 2 months, you know, that's a little hyperbolic for me. In his last 6 starts, he hasn't had a good start. So he needs to put that together. And all it does is, I think if he starts and plays well in that game, then you could look and say, you know what? We don't need to have him sit out 2 more weeks before his next start. That's I think that's where he's at now. It's not can he automatically be the starter again? I don't think it's going to be that easy, but if he starts well against Utah, then maybe it's a possibility that because next week they play Seattle, Chicago, and Vegas, right? So he should get at least one of those games, right? And then plays well again. Well, now they got 3 games the next week. Then he can get in again rather than one every 6 starts. Maybe it gets down to one every 3 starts. That's where I think it's at for Jar.
Really, I think if I'm coaching and he gets in there and he's playing well,
but it's only one game.
Yeah, I know, but give him an opportunity. If he's playing well, I would try and get him up and going. I think the better that who's got more upside, I would probably I would think Jari, because he's probably more proven, more of a proven playoff goalie. So, if he gets a start and plays well, I would probably give him another start. And, if you're willing to give Ingram, opportunity based on how he plays, I'd probably do the same thing. I would definitely do the same thing with Jari. If you're playing well, you deserve the net and stay in there and see who can get hot. And then, obviously I think if you're playing, 5 or 6 games in a row and there's an opportunity to get another goalie in there, a start to help them find their game and give the other guy a little bit of a rest. But yeah, I would have no problem with going with Jari and wouldn't find it, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to do what you got to do to get him up and running.
833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, is it the yips or just bad play from Norman? Good question, Norman. Well, I don't know if it can be the yips because I saw him come in relief against Colorado and he looked pretty solid. But then there's a few goals in Dallas. To me, I think it's a little bit of a combination of both. Like, I don't know if he just lacks the focus. But you look at some of those goals he's let in that game in Carolina where you're just like, that goal's going right through him. So is that just not attention to detail, to the fundamental basics of playing goal, right? You get across the crease. He's pushed across the crease 1,000 times in his life, right? You should know how to come across the crease. That shouldn't change, but it obviously does. It's no different than shooters, right? When a guy's feeling it, he hits the net. When he doesn't feel it, he misses the net.
I don't feel. I don't think it's the yips. At the end of the day, the mental side of the game is that big and that important. And it doesn't matter whether you're a rookie or a veteran, right? When you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. It's not like he's forgot how to play the position or how to slide across or technically lost the ability to think. It's just, this is the game. This is why the game is so hard to play. Because it's a mental grind. When you're feeling it, it feels, I'm sure it feels like a beach ball and you can see everything. When you're not feeling it, probably feels like a BB and, you just feel awkward. And I think more than anything, he's just got to, find some, find little things as a goalie or even as a player, just little things in your game and your practice habits and just your daily life of just getting your confidence back, feeling good coming to the rink. But yeah, I think a lot of it is kind of mental right now. And ultimately, if it kind of goes hand in hand, obviously they talked about it. If you can play well in front of them, that's going to help his game too. And it goes for, you're only as good as the guys that you have in front of you. So it's a combination of both, but I definitely don't think his skill or anything technical has really, been the issue as much as it's probably been about a little bit between the ears. And that's an athlete's life.
Yeah. Very fair. And guys, regardless of the goaltending, why don't we talk about how bad the McDavid line was defending against Tampa Bay? Comes in from Frank. Well, Frank, I mentioned that off the top of the show, and I wonder how much that played into the frustration level. I wrote about it today at Oilers Nation. I don't know if I'd seen a game this year that had that unflattering of numbers from that line. At 5-on-5, Bouchard played 20 minutes. He was outshot 17-5. Connor McDavid played 19-30. He was outshot 17-7. Nugent Hopkins played 15-33. He was outshot 15-5. Hyman played 16-07. He was outshot 17-5. The only other forward or skater who had the most shots on goal against was Nurse at 4, but he was on the ice for 9. Right, so he outshot them 9-4. Podkolzin outshot them 10-3. Kapanen outshot them 11-2. Henrique and Max Jones 5-1, 5-1. Jason Dickinson, Ty Emberson 9-2. Like, it wasn't even close. Every other Oiler forward had a shot for percentage, a defenseman of 60% or higher. Well, those 5 range from 22.7 to 31.5. It was just an off night for that top line. And the thing was, it wasn't just against Kucherov, because Kucherov, Darnell Nurse played the most minutes at 7:33. He outshot him 5-2. McDavid got outshot 13-2 in 6:54 against Kucherov. Right? That was that line. It was really, when you look at McDavid, right? And so his game was 17-7, but it was 13-2. So he outshot in his other 12 plus minutes, he outshot them 5-4. But it was that stretch against that line where they kind of got manhandled. And that's rare, but you can't overlook it. It happened. And it's rare to see it happen. And, now people said, hey, why wouldn't you play Dickinson more against Kucherov? Well, Dickinson played 5.5 minutes. McDavid played 6 minutes and 54 seconds. So, probably about 2 extra shifts. Usually coaches now, when you watch the allocation, there's not one line on a team that plays like, if a guy's playing 12 minutes, you're going to play 10 minutes of one line against him. It just doesn't happen very often. Defense might play a little bit more. So could you have said, hey, maybe play Nurse and Murphy more? You could, but they like having Bouchard with McDavid's line. I get it. Because on most nights, he's your best puck mover, moves the puck up. He's pretty good offensively when he gets up. So I understand the theory behind it. But for that one game, and it's only one game, they weren't on. Right? Like McDavid got outshot against every player except Emil Lilleberg, third pairing defenseman, outshot him 2-1. Outshot Oliver Bjorkstrand in 1:28, 2-1. And outshot Charles-Edouard Dastu, the third pair defenseman, 2-0. That was it. So that's a rare night. Usually McDavid, doesn't matter who he plays. You know what? They're at least controlling the shot clock. Well, that didn't happen against Tampa Bay game. And that was, and not to mention, they were on the ice when they gave up the shorthanded goal to Kucherov.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't just 5-on-5. It was that goal too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I watched the game and I didn't watch the third period, but the first 2 periods, obviously McDavid, his strength is playing in the offensive zone. And that's the reason why you play him with Bouchard, is because he has the best ability to make those plays under pressure, going back on pucks to give it to McDavid in the right spots. And the less time that your star players and your top 2 lines play in the defensive zone, obviously the better it is for them, right? More energy for offense. But right now, I mean, that was a better game that they played, but it's still not there. There's when you watch the top teams like Colorado, obviously Tampa, when they come in there, like in the defensive zone, or when Tampa's in the offensive zone, I just felt like the Oilers were just it just seemed like they were slow at times of getting the pucks. They didn't get that first touch. Tampa did a really good job of keeping pucks alive and checking, and I just, part of a lot of, the Oilers' success really comes down to how quick they can get out of their zone and how fast the defenseman can move that puck up. And I really felt like at times Tampa did just, a great job of being over top of the puck, keeping pucks alive, taking time and space away. And it just seemed like to me there was a little bit of indecision. And anytime you give good players time and space, they always make good plays. And Tampa did a super job of kind of spreading them out, really going from low to high, right? Having that third forward comes up high in the slot, that just seems to create a lot of havoc, right? Because then you got that third forward kind of coming down on loose pucks when pucks are coming on the net. They did a good job, but I think, like I said, to have, McDavid playing his defensive zone, the less he spends there playing and he's more offensive, that's where, he's going to shine. But defensively, when you have a guy like Wallman, that you're counting on to make those plays, and he's just doesn't have his game right now, he's not feeling as confident. That's where I felt like they just kind of struggled in putting their forwards in some good spots to get on the offense.
Let's take a quick break. We'll return. We'll get more on the NHL. We're going to talk a little baseball as well coming up. Excited about the baseball season. And we're going to get into the conversation. Now, shocking to me, that a lot of this is coming out of the East because it impacts them. And they're all I didn't hear the same outcry last year when 2 Eastern teams made the playoffs with 91 points and the Calgary Flames missed it with 96. There wasn't all like people are talking about, they should get a 116 again. And you can get 1 versus 8. We'll go through it and tell you that, you could go back to 1 versus 8. It's really not going to change much. This year is a massive outlier to have one division clearly way better than the other. That's it. It's an outlier. So You got to accept it for what it is. Outliers happen every now and then. It's not the norm. There doesn't need to be a massive change at all. Personally, I like the division rivals. I prefer it. It's better. You know what? If a division has good year, great. Some years you're in a tough division. That's just how it goes. And you can't predict it. It's not easily predictable. And it's not like the Pacific Division is being weak. Pacific Division's hardly been one of the toughest divisions in hockey the last few years. Right? You got the Atlantic with Florida and Tampa, and you got Vegas and Edmonton. Right? The Central's good in the regular season until they get to the Western Final, and then the Pacific Division spanks them. So what are we talking about here? It's 1 year. We'll get to that and more after Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, look no further. GoAuto.ca. They have over 15,000 vehicles for you to choose from at 71 different locations. Find the ride near you. GoAuto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Oh, magnificent. How are you?
You know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games.
Day afternoon. How
in the province? There's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino.
244 as we roll through.
In one app. Must be 18 plus to play.
244 as we roll through.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your picks. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes in strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you are having a lovely, lovely day. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers are flying out to Utah as we speak, take on the Mammoth. Tomorrow night will not be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. The Mammoth are currently locked in the number one wild card spot. They're actually ahead of the Edmonton Oilers, 3 points up on them. So the Oilers, you need to find a way to get at least one win on the road trip. In an ideal world, maybe get both. That Vegas game will be huge, but you got to start in Utah. And I think it'll be Jari tomorrow. That's who I would start tomorrow, but we'll see. The only reason I think they go to Ingram is the play against your former team angle, which can be a good angle at times. So I could understand it if they did that, but at the same time, he wasn't there. It wasn't in Utah a ton of times. So I wouldn't be that caught up in having him play against Utah.
Yeah, and the fact that he's played 5 games, he's lost his last 2, right? So, Jari's, I'd be looking to get this guy up and going. I think it's a great opportunity. They're on the road. Nice way to start kind of a road trip. And, he's had plenty of time to work with his goaltending coach, kind of plenty of time to kind of sit there on the bench and watch, different styles and just kind of maybe do a little bit of a, reflecting on his game and where he's at and mentally having that reset which is probably the most important.
Yeah. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. So I do want to get to this because it's being talked about a ton. So we're just going to go back a decade, okay? Because everybody is talking about how, you know what, you got to go back to 1 versus 8 and how 1 versus 8 will be better. Now, first of all, when you had 1 versus 8, it really wasn't 1 versus 8. That's what a lot of people forget because there are 3 divisions, right? So each team had the division winners, right? So even if you had more points than a team in the other division, you still might have been the 4th team, right? Happened all the time. So, just look at it in 2000. We'll go back to 2006, right? Oiler fans, we had a great run for the majority of that one. But like Ottawa and Buffalo were in the same division in the Eastern Conference, right? Ottawa should have been the number 1 seed. Carolina would have been number 2. Buffalo would have been number 3, but they weren't. They were number 4 because New Jersey had to be number 3, right? In the Western Conference, Detroit was number 1. You had Dallas number 2. Nashville should have been 3, but Calgary won the division, so Calgary is 3. Nashville was 4. So that changes all of the matchups. So even when you had it 1-8 that everybody's clamoring for, you never really had a 1-8, right? There was always division winners first, and there'll always be division winners. So, well, it is 1-8. Some years, it's not going to be that. But let's just go to when they changed it, right? In full seasons, when they went to 2 divisions. So in 2015, Montreal finished first in their division. New York finished first in theirs, and they were the 1-2 seeds. So 1 and 2 played 7 and 8, which would be exact how it is right now. Okay. And then you went 3 versus 4. So Tampa Bay played Detroit because they were in their same division, and you had Washington, the Islanders. And guess what? Tampa and Detroit would have been 3 versus 6, and Washington, the Islanders would have been 4 versus 5 in the East. Over in the West, St. Louis and Anaheim, they were the number 1 and 2 seeds. Each won their own division. So it was the same. Then if you would have went 3 versus 6, you would have had, Nashville and Chicago had 104 and 102 points, while Vancouver had 101 and Calgary had 99. So Vancouver and Calgary played each other instead. Now, is it worth it because Vancouver had 1 less point than Chicago to make them go all the way to Nashville instead of traveling to Calgary? That's really the question you have to ask yourself. And I'll guarantee you the people in the East, they don't think about that. Because in the East, there's no really far travel compared. There's no 3 time zones in the East. There's 1, the Eastern time zone. We got Central, Mountain Time, and Pacific. And it's amazing to me how narrow-minded, and maybe I shouldn't be shocked, how narrow-minded people are in the East when you have this discussion with them. Well, what's the big deal? You go Tampa or Carolina or to Toronto. Yeah, now do the math in your head, dude. It's not even close. Like, why would you have Vancouver or LA have to go play Nashville or Dallas in round 1? Because you wanted 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. Because usually the 1 and the 2 matchup, for the most part, has been the proper 1 versus 8 and 2, right? Because you have it that way. The top 2 in the division. Now, some years you'll have, the second place team in one division has 1 more point than the division winner in the other division. Is it really worth that much to you? And guess what? Look at the NFL. And the NFL has had they've had multiple years where you've had one incredibly weak division. That hasn't been the case. Look in 2017, you had 3 teams in the Central with 100 points. You had 2 with 100. And then the third next high, San Jose, had 98. That was higher than the third place team in the other division, right? You're going to have some years where you have 3 and 1 that maybe are a little bit better. And we're talking point differential. But this year is an outlier. We've never seen the Central be that much stronger than the Pacific, where you have 3 teams. They're all going to be 100-point teams, and there's going to be no 100-point teams in the Pacific. So, yes, this year it looks bad. I don't discount that. But you don't change all the rules for one thing. We do that too often in life all the time. Oh, what happened to the Matt Duchene offside rule? How did that work out? One really bad mistake, so now let's change it. Do you really like that rule now that it's been in place a few years? No, you don't. Because you could add common sense and say they missed the call, right? It's one major miss. Until we have a bunch of glaring obvious ones, we can live with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you look at, even some of the teams that have clinched that are doing really well. It's once you get into the playoffs, I don't see anyone, like, it's so, the margin of error is so small. Like, it's going to be exciting. I think once you get in there, it's just, especially, it really comes down to who gets hot. More importantly, like injuries too, right? If you got to make sure you stay healthy. And so, it's going to be exciting kind of coming down the stretch here to see, the matchups and, who gets hot and who comes in there with their game where it needs to be. And like I said, who can stay healthy.
Well, and see, that's the thing for the Oilers. And that's what I wrote today, how You know what? This season has been incredibly disappointing, I think, and frustrating for the organization as a whole. They thought they'd be better, right? There's been some moves that have been good moves. There's been other moves that really questionable, not just for 1 year, but the term on the Frederick contract obviously is terrible. The Tristan Jarry trade has not worked out very well. The Jake Wallman extension, while it hasn't even kicked in yet, isn't looking good for the future. Now, that could change, right? That could change because it hasn't kicked in yet, so it's kind of hard to judge it. It's still, you wonder, why he had to do it, right? There was no rush to have to sign him. He wasn't a pen and UFA, right? He wasn't. He had a good few months for your team, but why'd you have to rush into it? Like, you couldn't go anywhere. Like, there was no place he could go this year. You can always negotiate during the season. Like, imagine had you waited, what would Jake Wallman be looking for now? Totally different, right? So, and he's not like an elite defender. So why give him term? That's, to me, it's the term, the AAV, whatever. It's always term that usually bites you in the ass more than a contract does. You sign a guy a bad contract for 3 years, you live with it for 3 years, and then you kind of move on. You got 7 and 8 years. You're like, oh my God, this is an albatross. It's an anvil. So not a good start there. And, the Oilers' on-ice play has been inconsistent, regardless of who's playing. They've had some good success stories, young guys. I don't think anybody thought Josh Szymanski was going to be in the NHL this year. And as when he's played pretty well. Ty Emberson has taken stride. Pod Colson has taken strides. Kapanen's had a good season, albeit banged up. But so management, not great. Coaching, not great. Players, inconsistent at best for certain. And the thing is, though, the playoff run can wipe away a lot of anger and frustration. And because of their previous success, they'll get the benefit of the doubt until the playoffs start. Once the playoffs start, then it's irrelevant. But going into the playoffs, you would say, hey, do I think Edmonton could play better than Anaheim in the playoffs? Because I have no idea if Anaheim's going to be good in the playoffs. Like, you look at Anaheim, they still give up a ton. They just score lots right now. Awesome. Do they have the capabilities to tighten it up? Edmonton 5 years ago couldn't do it, right? They could score lots, but when push came to shove, Brownie, they could not tighten up, right? That was their downfall until they finally did. Now, they didn't do it every series, but they did in a lot of series. I look at Utah, same question. I don't know if they're going to be any good. And I say Utah because there's a chance you could face them in the opening round. Then you got Vegas. And now Vegas, they don't give up a ton. I still think they miss Pietrangelo more than anything, and Haig. And so Edmonton and Vegas have kind of mirrored each other this year in the sense that they thought they'd be better. They both have goaltending questions. So it'll come down to who do you trust more? And honestly, I have no idea. Like, I don't know which goaltender I would say, okay, well, you get Aiden Hill, you get Connor Ingram, you get Jari, you get Carter Hart, you get Calvin Pickard, you get Schmid. Like, honestly,
it's nice.
Like which one, if you were to draft, to say, oh, I'm going to draft one of those 6 goalies to play, and I'm most confident they're going to do well in the playoffs. I think if you ask 6 people, you'd get 6 different answers.
Yeah, it's nice not to be the only one trying to figure it out, right? So, I mean, all of them have the potential, but, it'll be interesting to see when you talk about contracts and maybe, giving or taking away contracts, or maybe not giving as long or as much. But Roslovic's got to be a guy, if you're watching what he's doing this year, I mean, he's obviously a good player. He's performing well. All arrows are pointing up, when they get into the playoffs, that he'll probably continue to perform. He's another guy that, will be interesting to see what happens to him. Does he stay? What type of term? How much money they give him? But you know what? Wallman, and for some of these, he performed, right? He performed, and that's all you can base it off of, really, last year. And I still think that, what's his name? The kid from Boston there that's not playing as physical as he should be. Not Frederick, right? I mean, his game, and if he can, there's still potential with him too. So I'm kind of on the side where it's like, I still feel like, you can have a great regular season and a bad playoff, and it's probably hasn't been a great year, and you could have an average or not so good regular season and have a great playoff, and you've had a pretty good season. So there's something that says, to me, that Frederick will find his game and it will be more suited for the playoffs, as with his size and physicality.
Well, yeah, he's got to get back in the lineup. But yeah, no, he could do it. Some individuals, yes, you can turn your season around if you have a good stretch. You can also dig the hole deeper, depending on how you play too, right? There's always two sides of that one. But I feel the organization, if the Oilers, if they don't have a good playoff run, Brownie, I think we could see significant change that goes, high up the hierarchy of the Edmonton Oilers.
You know what? I don't know if I disagree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's just a feeling right now that obviously losing magnifies everything. We make a big deal out of everything, every quote, every mistake, and that's the tough part, especially when you're in Canada. It's talked about even more. So this team has a lot of pressure on them, and it's not going to be easy either because just like Florida, they played a ton of hockey. These guys have a lot of miles on them, and now you got one of your superstars that is going to be going into the playoffs a little bit nicked up. So I think it gets harder before it gets easier, just based on the amount of games and how much they've played, and that's where I really think it's going to help with different guys, whether it's Szymanski and Roslovic or Kapanen, Dickinson. I think it's crucial and important for these guys to continue to grow and continue to play a big role to eat up those minutes, so that they're not just relying on McDavid, Draisaitl when he gets back, because they got a lot of miles on them.
Yeah, they do. But guess what? Florida had a lot of miles. They won 3 straight cups. Tampa Bay had a lot of miles. They won 3 straight cups. It's happened twice in the last 6 years. I'm not really going to buy the lot of miles argument. If they don't make it, it's because they're not good enough. I don't think it's just going to be fatigue. I think it's kind of too easy when 2 other teams just showed you can do it in this exact era. So it's not like 10, 20 years ago. It's literally the last 3 years that a team did it. So I think the Oilers, you know what? If you don't make it to the Cup finals, because they're not good enough, right? Now, maybe they'll have some injuries, but everybody has injuries at different times. The way the Oilers are playing right now, I don't know how anybody could be overly confident that they would get back to the Stanley Cup final. That being said, teams have changed in the playoffs. We've seen it multiple times. So it's going to have to be their saving grace. I know what JC says, Gregor, what are you talking about playoffs? It's not a guarantee the way they're playing. Well, you're right. Officially, it is not a guarantee that the Edmonton Oilers will make the playoffs. But you look at it. So the Oilers right now, to fall out of the playoffs, the LA Kings and the Predators would have to pass them. The Kings are 4 points back, so they're not that far out. They do play each other once more. I look at Edmonton and just win. What do they got? 11 games. You go 6-5, and that's probably enough to get in the pillow fight division this year. Right? Honestly, like Seattle, they're done for me. San Jose, they're done. It really comes down to, can LA catch Nashville? Can they catch Vegas? Can they catch Edmonton to get to the playoffs? That's really, to me, what it's come down to. I think it's one of those 4 teams misses.
So when you talk about changes in the organization, if they don't, is that at management or players or
I don't
coaching?
Well,
like didn't Oblai, he
everything.
just signed a 3-year deal, didn't he?
I don't think the owner is adverse to anything. You got to remember, on July 1st, that starts 2-year contract for Connor McDavid. There's been pressure to win in the organization before, from the players, from everybody. That gets amped up now on a 2-year deal for him, because, the last few years they've made the playoffs. I said all along, it was a no-brainer. He was going to re-sign. He did re-sign. Didn't sign for the term that everybody wanted as far as fans go, and I get that, but he did re-sign. If you have an early flame out this year, and then you don't have a good year the next year, well, guess what? The odds of him re-signing now are infinitely lower. So I think the organization, you can't just have a look at 2027. You've got to look at, hey, what can we do to ensure that McDavid signs for longer than what he's currently said? That's a big factor of all their decisions. And, they'll look at some things and, well, why did we flame out? And guess what? Well, the trade didn't work for the goaltending. If Tristan Jarry doesn't play better, that's going to be a major X on the, review sheet of the management. That's just a fact. So I think they'll look at that. They'll look at coaching. I'm not saying they'll make a change, but I think they will look at everything. I think there would be significant changes. I won't be surprised that at some point in the future, Paul Coffey's the president of hockey operations. I'll just say, I'm going to say it right now.
Really?
Yes. We all know that he's very close to Daryl Cates. He's a pretty smart guy. I think that's what it'll be. Take a quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brav and 118th.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers The Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Wow. Get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
For 50 years, the Selby Group has been building trusted homes and strong communities. This year, we're celebrating that milestone with special events and anniversary promotions you won't want to miss. Discover Hillshire by Selby Group, beautifully designed homes in a community built for the way you live today. And coming this spring, move-in ready spec homes will be available. Your new home is waiting. Celebrate 50 years of Selby Group at Hillshire. Visit selvygroup.com or stop by Hillshire today.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.30. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sport1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Monday. A little quiet night in the NHL tonight. Only one game, but it's a big one. If you're an Ottawa Senators fan, the Senators are trying to get themselves closer to the Eastern Conference cut line. They've got 81 points. A win tonight over the Rangers would put them 2 points out of a playoff spot, with the game in hand on the New York Islanders. Now, they'd be one back at Detroit, who also would have a game in hand, but there's 10 teams. If Ottawa wins, Ottawa loses tonight, you're probably thinking, that might be the one. Now, they do play Detroit tomorrow night, so they got 2 huge games here. But the Senators, you win, anything can happen, because you got Montreal with the 86 points. Like, if Ottawa wins tonight, 2 weeks ago, the separation from outside of Carolina, Buffalo, and Ottawa, so basically from like the number 4 seed down to number 10 was 6 points. Ottawa wins tonight, it's down to 3. Like, it's getting closer all the time. So Montreal, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Boston, New York, Detroit, y'all got to keep winning. You can't really afford a 2-game losing streak. It can turn around really quickly. So it's fun to watch. And we'll discuss all of that now as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And stop in. The NHL Star Sticks are here at McDonald's. You get one of 7 mini sticks, including McDavid's, with every Star Stick meal. Collect all your favorite players, but only for a limited time. Basically, you got about another week left. Only at McDonald's, as we're joined by former NHLer, longtime media personality, George LaRocca, former teammate of Sean Brown. Georgie, my man, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. George, let's start with in Montreal. Fans are fired up. There's something they haven't seen in a long time. They got a 40-goal scorer in Cole Caulfield, who just had the 5-point night and a hat trick on the weekend. And now he's chasing 50. The last guy to do it was Stefan Richer. For goodness, you weren't even drafted in the NHL yet, Georgie, when Richer had scored 50.
Yeah, I know. People are so excited because they haven't seen this in a long time, the depth of scoring like this. What Suzuki's doing to also, close to 100-point season. They think he's going to do it. Caulfield obviously wants the 50. No, it's incredible how the rebuilding in Montreal worked out so good, and how much better, like, this team, the core of guys they have. And, Kent Hughes did a really good job to keep the core together and not trading away assets, to improve faster. And it's been paying off. They're very patient. And the trade deadline, I know that some people were frustrated, but again, he wants to keep those core guys together. Michael Age, the future of this team, he wants to keep all these assets. And then that for years to come, Montreal is going to be a force.
Georgie, with all these players playing so well, Marty St. Louis had to make some tough choices on a veteran player like Gallagher. Maybe talk about him and his coaching and just his ability. It's not easy to make some of those tough decisions.
Gallagher for years been the heart and soul of this team, and he still is. But the way Gallagher has success with his size, it's a hard-nosed game, going to the net, crash and banging and stuff. But over the years, his body has slowed down a bit, which is normal because he plays a big man's game and he's a small player. So that's why, sometimes he's going to have to do a rotation when everybody's healthy. But now with Josh Anderson and Kirby Dach that are hurt, then he doesn't have to do a rotation anymore. But once everybody's healthy, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to be in a rotation. And Gallagher understands that because, teams are getting physical more and more, and in the playoff it's going to be more physical. So, he's a professional. He understands it. He's always going to be ready. But for now, anyway, with all the injuries, he's going to be in the lineup for a while.
George, when you look at their goaltending in Montreal and really, around the league, there's a few teams, if the Islanders get in, they got a clear number 1 goalie for sure, but there's not a lot of them. Even like Buffalo's playing great kind of with shared goaltenders. when you look at the Habs, is there an obvious game one starter and an obvious series starter for you?
The situation in net is weird in Montreal. It's very weird. And I think that you guys in Edmonton understand this problem more than anyone. It's just that in Montreal, the solution, who would have thought? Who would have thought that the solution would be they push Sam Montembeault aside, the number 2 goalie, Dobesh, becomes the number 1, and the number 2 goalie is your prospect, and number 1 goalie in the minors, Jacob Fowler. So now they're going to go with these 2 young guys until the end of the season, and they are doing the job. This is remarkable because who would have thought that Montembeault, a goalie that makes Team Canada, now is the 3rd goalie for the Canadian. They pushed them aside, and now they're riding with those 2 young guys, 1 and 2, till the end of the season, hoping they're going to bring them to the playoffs. So as of now, if you ask me today who would start game 1 in the playoffs if the Canadian makes it, it would be Dobesh. But right now, there's a fight between him and Fowler to the end of the season to see who's going to deserve that spot. But obviously, Dobesh is ahead of Fowler for now, but who knows the way things could go until the season is end. But it's remarkable how Montembeault, that has been pushed aside, is probably going to be dealt in the off season. So it's been pretty interesting to see that those young guys in net, they seem to be dealing with pressure pretty good because Montreal, they have a history knowing their goalies. Montreal has a history with Price, with Theodore, Patrick, all these guys. The market of this goalie is very severe. And so far, Dobesh and Fowler has been handling very well.
Georgie, the Oilers' last game against Tampa Bay, there was a lot more emotion, and there was actually a couple fights. Podkolzin and Murphy got into one. Maybe just talk about the toughness, not necessarily just having like a tough guy on the ice or a tough guy in the lineup and how important that is, but just, having team toughness and what that type of energy and, I'm assuming you understand the importance of having that and what it means.
Hockey has changed so much and rightfully so, because it's much safer than it used to be back then. So that's why team toughness is even more important, because towards the end of the season like this, where people play playoff hockey and it's getting more and more physical and coming to the playoff, it's important to show that a team, you stick together and then you go to war together and you all rely on one another. The best example of that is, look what happened with Toronto when, Gudas is hurting Matthews, the captain, and nobody reacted. And, that shows you a team that is broken. You cannot win with a team that is broken, and you can't make the playoff, and you can't win in the playoff. So obviously the Oilers, and I'm going to attribute that to up and down because of the goalie situation. Despite that, this team sticks together. They're showing everyone around the league that if you take liberty against one of our guys, and not just that, if you do a clean hit against one of our star guys, because that now we're punishing clean hit, even if it's clean, because we want to react. Don't go so hard on our hard guys if you want to hit them. So I love that. And Podkolzin, that guy's a tank. He is unbelievable. And, the season that he has this year, we've seen him, how aggressive that he could be, how underrated that he is. And now I think people appreciate him more and more because of what he brings to the table with physicality. But that's awesome. This is awesome because we saw Connor a couple of games ago when he was frustrated. You don't want to see Connor hit. You don't want to see Connor fight. You don't want to see him in that position so then he could get hurt, because he does so much for this team. And the others needed it even more because Draisaitl is hurt, and he's probably hurt until the end of the season. By the way, in an interview in Germany, I was very worried when I heard that Draisaitl said that he was hoping the others make it past the first round so he could come back in the playoff to help the team. So that tells you that his knee situation is going to be much longer than we thought. So we need Connor more. So to need Connor more, the team toughness is even more important because you don't want it to come from Connor. We need Connor to score, but we need the other guy to bring the physicality and make sure that the whole team is well respected. So the team bonding in Edmonton and everything that we've seen is very good. And that's something that is awesome to see.
George Larac joined us. That being said, George, were you surprised? Matthew Tkachuk didn't play the first game this year in Florida. He was injured. He beat the Oilers twice. He was mounting off Draisaitl in the Olympics. They were chanting. Brad Marchand was wearing an Oilers suck pin after they beat them. Are you surprised that there was like no pushback at all in that game against Florida last week?
Well, the thing is that, the way that shook is, like his antic and what he does. And now they're playing the villain, in the NHL at the way that they are. So, at the end of the day, like Florida, where are they? Like, they're not even going to make the playoffs. So they're not even, you're looking at this team and why getting into it with them? They're done. That team right now, they've won 2 cups in a row. They're tired. That toll they takes on your body. So whatever he says now and stuff, I think that after a while, people are getting just sick of it because Jason, Word has never sent anyone to the infirmary.
It's true.
And then, people that talk to me, it's so easy to talk, but I never understood when people like that with just words are able to get people, out of their minds and going crazy and getting penalties and stuff. Talking is cheap. Shouldn't speak louder than talk. So that's why I know that some guys are managing to get under players' skin by words and talking and stuff, but I never understood that. So I would say Matthew could talk all he wants, but talking has never hurt anyone. So, the fact that you're not reacting because the guy was mouthing off, if he hurts you the way that he plays and he dirty plays, that's different. I think there's a code and you have to respond to it. But reacting to chirping, oh man, let the guy talk. His team's not going anywhere this year.
George, looking in the East, and it's a great playoff race. Montreal, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Boston, the Islanders, the Red Wings, the Sens. 2 of those 7 teams aren't going to make it. And as I said, Ottawa wins tonight. They're all separated by 3 points. Like, no one's really that safe at the end of the day. Is there any team that you feel confident in saying, you know what, I don't like them to make the playoffs, and why?
What's weird is you look at the Oilers division, no team wants to win the division. And you look in the East, and everybody wants to make the playoff. It's insane. The division in the East, it's crazy. And, the East is so strong this year. And you look at Columbus, how impressive that they've been. But, the team that is impressing the most, that I would not want to play in the first round, is Buffalo. Buffalo, since they got rid of Kevin Adams, Kekalainen came in, and he didn't really. Yes, he had some key guys in the transaction in the limit, but they were good before that. When he came in, all he told those guys is, "I believe in this team. No one is going anywhere. We could win together." Those guys were so happy that they started winning. Now they have size. This team in the first round could go. They could go. They could go far. They're a dangerous team to play against. And who would have thought that after Vasilevsky was back, that Tampa at one point were the favorite to come on in the East, and now Buffalo looks like they're taking that division? Man, I wouldn't want to play Buffalo in the first round. We were laughing at this team at the beginning of the season as everybody was going to go. They were going to trade everyone, and now they look like a contender. So Buffalo is very, very, very impressive. And also for Columbus, I kind of like Columbus, like the late charge that they have to maybe pass the Penguins second in division because of the Gaudreau story and everything. So I've always liked Columbus, but obviously I would love, you love more Canadian team in the playoffs. So if obviously Montreal, I think Montreal will be in, but I'd love Ottawa to get in. But, Montreal is more important. But, you look at Buffalo and Columbus, these 2 teams, I wouldn't mind seeing them in the playoff because where Buffalo's been, for many years, nobody wants to play there. No, Buffalo is not a great city, and the curse and all the players leaving this team, you wonder where they were going, their direction. So now it's a nice Cinderella story to see them there. And but it's a team that Montreal is going to have to battle for years, and Montreal is going to have to add some size to their lineup because Buffalo is going to be a problem for them for years to come.
Well, that was my last question. When you look at the Habs and they got lots of skill, but they got a lot of small skill. How much of a concern for you is that in the playoffs? Do you think that's something they're going to have to address in the summertime?
Chase, this is crazy. This is the biggest concern because The only big forward they have, big winger, Slavkovsky, was a bit unreal. But you need him to play in the top line and the second line because Josh Anderson, shoulder problem, is hurt. And when he comes back, we know that he's not going to be able to hit like he's done before because he has shoulder problem and his shoulder's back again. And Kirby Dach, every year, he's hurt. So they have to resign him this summer. I don't see him resigning him and keeping him. So because of that, there's no big wingers. And this team is too small. So last year they lost to the Cats because of the size problem, and now this year it's the same thing. They're even smaller. So it's a thing they're gonna have to address because they have a lot of talent, but they need big wingers. They saw what Slavkovsky, the room that he gives to Caulfield and Suzuki, like having this presence on this line. And the second line had huge success when Slav was there, but now they put Newhook there. Newhook is a small forward, so they couldn't address it in the trade deadline because they had too many forwards. But this summer, they're going to have to find ways to get rid of a lot of these small guys and get some bigger wingers that could complete top six in Montreal lineup because in the playoff, we know that what team is going to do. They're going to try to run this team out of the building. And because the referee put the whistle in the pocket, it's going to be a disadvantage for the Canadiens.
Georgie, it doesn't sound like obviously Montreal has a big tough guy. Edmonton doesn't really have a designated guy like yourself. I knew the benefits of having someone like you. If you're putting a team together, how important do you feel it is to maybe have someone like you? Would you go in that direction, or do you think you could accomplish it in a different way?
Well, Montreal has Jacky, right? Jacky is there, but I think they're going to trade him in the offseason because he doesn't play anymore. They played Ottawa, he didn't play. They played Washington, they didn't play. They played tough team and he's not playing anymore. So I think that, Montreal is going a different direction. And the big rumor is that Jacky might be going to Calgary. So that will be a problem for the Oilers. But again, I would say, Sean, that you don't need heavyweights anymore because there's no more in the league. Yeah, there's Rempe's there, Delorier, but Delorier could play. Rempe could play too, by the way. And Olivier is probably the best player, top guy in the league so far. Olivier, Delorier is there. There's 5 legitimate, true top guys that are there. There's also the guy in Anaheim and Tampa. But again, if you have big guys that could mix it up, if there's a problem, it's okay. But I don't think that you need a one-dimensional guy. But you need big guys that could rough it up if there needs to be. Like, look at the Oilers. The Oilers, Darnell Nurse, if needs be, he could mix it up. Paul Sullivan could do it too. There's a few guys that could, if things get roughed up, they could jump in there. So it's good. But I don't think that you need the one guy that just does do that now. But you do need some physical guy that can answer the bell if needs to be.
George, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the next few weeks. It'll be a great run to the playoffs here. No team's really safe yet out of those 7. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I just hope the Oilers, find ways to make the playoff because I know the goaltending problem is the big thing right now. It's tough, and hopefully Jarry could figure it out because Ingram's been doing better, but he's not a number 1, and if he plays too many games in a row, he'll be burned. So hopefully the Oilers find a way in the offseason to solve that position because the Oilers, with all the goaltending guys, as you know, they can't win.
Yeah, well, hey, you need some goaltenders, no question. Georgie, good to talk to you, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
Anytime. Thank you.
There you go. That's George Larocque. Quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in 3s. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project. Every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
This is your moment to come on down and play for your chance to win over $300,000 in prizes. But that's not all. Buy more, save more on select major appliances. Up to $1,000 off. Save up to 40% on select mattresses and up to 25% on furniture. Plus, this Saturday, play for up to $1,000 off your purchase. Everyone who plays is a winner. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Every goal, every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters to Central Alberta, like 10 new school projects for a total of 27 underway, redeveloping Red Deer Regional Hospital and investing in more rural family physicians, expanding trades education at Olds College and upgrading facilities at Lakeland College, twinning Highway 11 and expanding Red Deer Regional Airport, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. For more details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.354, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, hey, even coffee tables. I got it all at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1. Over the last 2 games, has there been an aspect of the Oilers game that has disappointed you the most, and how do you think that can be corrected?
I'll say the time and space in the defensive zone is just, in the neutral zone as well, of just trying to make it a little bit harder for teams to get in your zone. And I think if you do that, obviously you spend less time and your better players spend more time, have more energy for offense. How you correct it? I mean, that it's that's the $1 million question. Obviously having your defenseman follow up the play, and it starts with your neutral zone and the offensive blue line gap, right? So taking away time and space and in those areas will create a little bit more turnovers.
Oh man. The Florida game bothered me way more than the Tampa Bay game. I thought the Tampa Bay game was there right in it, and basically a crossbar away from tying the game. And the disappointment for me, I thought there was way too many offensive zone turnovers in both games by the Oilers. I didn't like their puck management at all.
Question number 2. If you were picking today, who do you think meets in the Stanley Cup final?
Go ahead, Gregor.
Well, Tampa would probably be my choice out of the East. And the West, if I was picking today, I would go Dallas.
Ooh. I would probably go I'm going to go in the West. I will go Colorado. And then maybe the East, we'll say Buffalo.
That'd be interesting. Question number 3. The Jays today giving GM Ross Atkins a 5-year extension. Schneider got 2 years as well. We know for the team that came as close as you could to winning a World Series without doing so. But when you look at Atkins, his tenure, I mean, not long ago, fans wanted him gone. What have you made of his time with the Jays?
Yeah, I just find that amazing. It seemed like just yesterday they wanted him gone. At different times through the season, you want Schneider gone. I guess that's kind of par for course for every sports organization.
He's been there 16 years. Is that right? By Ross Atkins?
I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's been 16 years if it has been, but
2015, I think was the.
Okay, so it's only 10 years.
Yeah, I came over from Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they made it the playoffs, what? 5 times? 6 in the he came over after they had made the playoffs. Did he not?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he's made the playoffs 4 times. Made it to the World Series. Yeah, you know what? Like the 17, 18, 19 wasn't good. They weren't overly competitive, not really close. I don't even think they were 500 teams that year. So they kind of retooled from their good teams, and then it was a slow buildup. And you don't win, so you can't give them an A+, but they've been pretty competitive for the most part. They spend lots, so I'd probably give them I'm only going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B+.
Really, I it's got to be somewhat tough. I mean, they're the only Canadian team, and it seems like it's hard to always find talent. And he brings in and brings in good players. So I'll give him a pass for sure.
Question number 4. Former number 1 overall pick Markel Fultz signing a 10-day contract with the Toronto Raptors. Give me one former number 1 overall pick, any sport that didn't have the career path that you thought they would.
I'll go with Alexander Daigle. Obviously talented. Had a chance to play against them. Obviously with the hype and being Canadian, obviously didn't reach his full potential. There's actually a good documentary on him, which I found really good for any young athlete out there. But yeah, he's probably someone that didn't quite make it.
Different eras of my life. I remember I was really kind of into sports and watching a ton. Danny Manning, if you go back, I always thought Danny Manning was going to be a better player than he was. And then if I go kind of in this era, now he never should have went number 1 overall, but I followed it. But Anthony Bennett did like a whole lot of nothing. The Canadian who was drafted first overall by the Cavaliers in 13. I think it was. That was because we had Canadians back to back, right? 13. Wiggins was 14. Cons, I'm pretty sure it was 13 and 14. But yeah, I'll go with him. Markel Fultz, man, like that guy was drafted almost like a decade ago, was he not?
Been a while, yeah.
Wow. So,
It's funny to go back and look at that Anthony Bennett draft, though. How did Giannis make it to 15?
Yeah. Greg Oden was the one guy, right? Like the big guy. Now, unfortunately, got injured, and there's lots of injuries for him. And that's why the big man at number 1, man, that's always a risk, right? Always a risk. Like you look at like DeAndre Ayton's okay player, but not a number 1 overall pick, right? But you look at, even Zion, right? Like I know Struddy's somewhere, like God, Struddy loves Zion, Cons for years. Like he just thought he was going to be the greatest guy ever. But if you look at since then, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama, pretty good. Now, in that time though, what do you make of Paolo Banchero's career early on, Cons?
Been pretty good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been all right. Yeah, like he's not in the Edwards Cunningham department, but pretty good. So probably a little too early on the guy for the Hawks there in 24. I can't even say his last name, Resacher. So I'm not
Declan's giving a thumbs down on him.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that good. Now he's only had 2 years, but sometimes that can be enough. But
Zion would have been a good one. Like, didn't they have to teach that guy to like rerun? Like, because he had a ton of injuries, right?
Well, he was just pretty thick.
Yeah, like
right?
I remember that.
Blew up
I thought
he was when he dunked.
I thought he was going to be like the next.
He was very powerful, but extremely powerful. I don't know if his. You always wondered, like maybe he just had the body type that didn't look like it, but he just looked like he was always like right on that line of, well, do I have another burger?
Hey, didn't you have Shaq in here?
Not in studio, no. I interviewed him at the.
Isn't he?
He's a huge man, but not the biggest guy I've ever interviewed.
Really?
Tallest, yes, but the Mountain was the biggest man I saw, like straight up. Now he's younger too at that time. Like Shaquille O'Neal in his prime probably would have been different, right? But Shaq's moving a little bit slower. But the Mountain was 440 pounds, Brownie, a rock solid.
Oh, really?
440, 6'9", 440. That is. The key was and we had lunch together. So maybe it's different. I spent more time with him. We had lunch. I never seen a human being eat that much at lunch. I was just like, oh. But we were talking about it. He's like, yeah, I got to eat a lot of food, right? Because when you're 440 pounds in those world's strongest man competitions, like you're moving around boulders, like literally boulders. Like it is crazy. Just how big he was, like everywhere, arms, forearms, hands, like everything was massive.
Where did you see him?
He was in town at Hart. On the south side on 23rd Ave, and a friend of mine, Layla, she was a representative, and so he was promoting an Icelandic vodka, and so she invited me down. Hey, do you want to do an interview with him? I'm like, yeah, for sure. So, no, everything was great about the interview. Really good guy. Just I chose to wear a vest that day in the summertime, and that was a bad decision because we took a picture and I looked like a ventriloquist dummy.
Well, that's the thing. When
I never looked like, dude, I show you the picture. I never I'm 6 feet, average size guy. Never felt small really.
Yeah.
And I've been around like, big guys in the locker room, but never like that. He was where you're just like, God, I feel like a child beside this man.
That's where I felt like Shaq and those guys. Like some of them are really big, but their bodies just look out of proportion. But with Shaq, last time I seen him, his body was proportional.
Oh, he's a big dude. Like
we were actually in LA because we practiced and shared the same facility as the Lakers. So I asked the security guy if I could go in and say hi to Shaq, and he was hurt or something. So he was doing some rehab in the pool. And so I walk up to him and he was in the pool and he's getting out and he just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then he swallowed my hand. I was just like, holy Jesus.
Yeah. And you're what, 6'3"? Yeah. Like Matt O'Donnell played, for the L. He was 6'11", big dude, but he was like 320, which is still a huge man. Yeah. But you take it. And so the Mountain was 6'9", 420. Yeah. And not like 420 of just, grotesque. No. He was 420 of just chiseled. Like he was a large human being, man. Like Patrick Kabongo was big, probably with a bigger, like just all around hand, everything was big. The other guy was the D lineman, Calvin Kenny. He probably was, for Elks players, he was the biggest guy. Doug Peterson, easily the most intimidating player I've ever encountered in my life. Like,
really? Why?
Oh, just everything about him. Like he looked at you and he had those wolf eyes, like really pierced blue eyes.
Oh.
And probably because I'd stood on the sidelines early in my career and I saw him and how he manhandled men. Like one hand could grab a guy and he just looked crazy. And so you're always just like, and super quiet guy, but I'm like, there's a guy, like, you're just like, you're talking to him like, this guy, even if he looked at you, he was just intense. He just had an intense look like, I'm basically going to knock your head off right now. Even though that wasn't what he was thinking, probably. It's just how he looked all the time. So he was an intimidating human for sure. So
final question, guys. On this day in 1999, Livin' La Vida Loca was released by Ricky Martin. Obviously, I'm sure you guys know, got people on the dance floor. If you had to pick 3 songs to get the party started, what would they be?
Oh, 3 songs. Since I was the DJ this weekend for a short period of time, I'll go Jump Around.
Oh, that is a good one.
House of Pain. I got to pull up my list here.
You got your set list there?
I did, yeah. I can't even say the words in this one, but by Jay-Z and Kanye West, the song
Paris.
In Paris. We'll just use that. What's another one? Let Me Clear My Throat. Maybe a little old school. I had a mix of my music, and obviously I had to read the crowd a little bit. We had a little bit of country to start off.
Country, all right. Well, see, that's depending. Like, if you're gonna get a country song, there's different, right? But so I'm just like a dance party, or you're gonna get people on the, lots of people. If you don't know how to two-step, you don't really get on the dance floor. Most people can get out there and be like, "Hey, dude, no one's really watching. You just get on the dance floor, just cut a rug.
Just hopefully everyone's out there.
Yeah, do whatever you're doing. Kind of get in the middle. No one's gonna see you, and who really cares? Most people, they're not looking at the other people for the most part. They're just trying to survive on their own. Man, there's a lot. I like trying to think of.
Are you a two-stepper?
Yeah, I could do it. I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
It's kind of no choice, but I'd probably have "Wake Me Up" by Avicii. I like that song. I would have Technotronic, where we're going back. Like I'm probably going to have songs from my era.
Yeah.
And another song only because and I've told the story before, but one of my good buddies who wasn't a real dancer, when you played Poker Face by Lady Gaga, he got on the dance floor. So to me, if that gets the op man on the dance floor, it's going to get most people on the dance floor. So, and it's a sick tune. But if actually, you know what? Can I throw in one more? Just because it's such a great song, "Take on Me" by Aha.
Oh, really?
You don't know that song?
I think I do, but
yeah. So it's a good one. There's lots of, depends on kind of what you're like. I know Strutty's screaming at the radio right now. Come on, where's ABBA? You need an ABBA song, right? Like Dancing Queen. Sure, it's a good song, but wouldn't be on my playlist. So,
well, the people that I was with this weekend, they were feeling it. It didn't take that much to get out there.
Hey, boys, 50 Cent in the club. Oh, good song.
Oh,
really good song, buddy. It's going to get people out there. Why not? Brownie, have a good one. By this time next Monday, Oilers have 3 big games: Utah, Vegas, Anaheim. How many wins this week?
Oh, man, I don't have a good feeling where they're at right now. I don't like the interview. I didn't, their game was. I don't like it. I don't like where their goaltending's at. I'll give them 1 win.
1 win, okay. See, I'm thinking 1-1-1 too.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel right now. So we'll see. Let's get to the Con Man of Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Snow is still sticking around, so you need tires, need new wheels, oil change. They got it all. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just one game tonight in the NHL. 5:30 Sens taking on the Rangers in the association. The Raptors back in action. They'll take on the Utah Jazz just after 7 o'clock. Got the Warriors taking on the Mavericks, Bulls, and Rockets. Grizz meet the Hawks. Heat host the Spurs. Thunder taking on the Sixers, and the Pistons hosting Luka and the Lakers. March Madness women's side early on. Number 1 UConn up on Syracuse 11-2, and in the third quarter, number 5 Kentucky leading number 4 West Virginia 43-36. Winners earlier today: number 10 Virginia, number 6 Notre Dame, and number 3 Louisville. Toronto Blue Jays announcing contract extensions for both GM Ross Atkins and manager John Schneider earlier today. Atkins reaching a 5-year deal, which will run through the 2031 season. Schneider, who's also in the last year of his deal, signed a 2-year extension. From the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs signing tight end Travis Kelce to a 3-year extension worth $54.7 million. And at the Miami Open, Canada's Victoria Mboko earned a 4th-round win over Russia's Mira Andreeva. Earlier today, she'll advance to the quarterfinals. Tomorrow, she'll take on Carolina Pliskova. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear the oil report, the stat of the day, and talk some Bruins with Jimmy Murphy. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
It's like a locker room minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday
Halley
mornings
Sports
from
1440
7 to 11.
Sports. 3 o'clock. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley Sports 1440
Sports.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We're the #1 dealer in the world. Just kidding. If we were, would you care? We're the #1 dealer in Canada. Still kidding. You probably still
Sean
don't
Brown.
care. Tell you what you will care about, our March Madness sale going on right now. Discounts up to $30,000. And the grand opening of our Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley,
no
Sports
iPads,
1440,
no
Sports
trips to Vegas
1440.ca.
or
Let's get to
hockey
5,
jerseys, just a really
1440,
good
Sports
deal. Stop in
40,
and see us
Sports
today,
40.
13215 97th
Sports
Street, or visit us
1440.ca.
online
Let's
at
get to 5
northgategm.com.
questions, bro. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 14.
Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best junior hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
A little poker face for you. There you go, con man. Woo. Oh, guarantee somewhere ops is if he's driving in his car on the way to Sobeys right now, he'll be dancing for sure. For sure. Welcome back. A lovely Monday afternoon on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up later on, Speck is going to join us from Utah. We also have Jimmy Murphy joining us as the Boston Bruins. I'll tell you right now, when you look at Vezina nominees this year, Jeremy Swayman's got to be in the conversation. He is having himself a spectacular season for the Boston Bruins. If you go to now, there's different sites are going to have different rankings, of course, which is always like when it comes to expected, I'm always leery of it because like when we go to goals and assists, they're the same everywhere. Doesn't really change, but goals saved above expected. Each site has a little bit different on how they calculate it. But Jeremy Swayman right now is second in the NHL in goals saved above expected. Only Logan Thompson is higher than him. Then Ilya Sorokin and Andrei Vasilevsky, only the 4 goalies who have 20 goals saved above expected. Order fans, I'm not going to tell you where the Oilers goalies rank. It's not it's not ideal. It's maybe not as terrible as you would think, but it's also not ideal at all. So you would like someone to be a little bit better. They have but the order first goalie ranked. Man, you got to scroll down a long way. Connor Ingram is a -2 goals saved above expected. Pickers at -3.5. Jari's at -3.7. But that includes his time in Pittsburgh, where he had much better numbers. So not ideal, to say the least. If you're wondering where Stuart Skinner is, he's 21st in the NHL at 8.1 goals saved above expected. Just saying. I got a lot of flack for, Gregor, you love Skinner. I'm like, no, Skinner had some warts, but not nearly as glaring as a lot of people in this market thought. So there you go. Few other notes. Hey, Greg's, I know you look at the schedules lots. How concerned should I be in regards to the Oilers' remaining schedule? Well, the Oilers, they don't have that difficult of a schedule. They play, four? They only got 4 more games this month. They got Utah and Vegas on the road, and then they're home to the Ducks Saturday afternoon. And then you got Seattle. So 3 division games, 3 teams, 3 above you in the standings, but albeit by 1, 2, or 3 points. Utah, Vegas, and Anaheim. They're all winnable games. You could argue they're all losable games. Seattle's the game that I'd be pretty confident saying the Oilers should win for sure. They always beat them. If you could find a way to win 2 out of 3 this week, that'd be a really good week. Utah will not be an easy game. Vegas. Now, the Oilers did win in Vegas earlier this month, right? Didn't have a lot of shots in that game, and that's kind of the MO. Vegas, did you know that in the month of March, Vegas has the fewest shots against in the NHL at 21.7. They just don't give up a ton of shots. But if you look at their goaltending in the month of March, just the month of March, because I'm a big believer in kind of what are you doing for me lately? And Vegas, remember, number 1 in shots against. Where do they rank in goals against per game? 14. So not terrible at 2.92. The Edmonton Oilers, not good. Almost a full goal ahead more. Like the Oilers, their goals against here in the month of March is not good. So there's no team that, like Seattle, worse than the Oilers. So that's why I think they could beat Seattle for sure. But yeah, you probably have a slight concern. There's no easy games. When you're the Edmonton Oilers and you're kind of the epitome of inconsistency and you don't have Leon Draisaitl, heck, if the Oilers can go 2-2 this month, that would probably be pretty good. Then they have Chicago. That's a winnable game. Vegas at home. And like the Oilers have actually beaten Vegas 8 of their last 9 games. Then you're on the road again in Utah, San Jose, LA. San Jose at that point, I think, the bloom will be off the rose. I think they're starting to fade right now. They'll try hard, but they'll be a team that I think is beatable, right? You've got the Sharks, and then you got the Canucks, your last game of the season. Like, imagine if you have to win that game. My God, if you can't beat the Canucks in the last game of the regular season, then you don't deserve to get in the playoffs. It's that simple. So Edmonton's schedule is okay. It's not easy by any stretch, but it's not filled with, you got Vegas, and you have 1 game against Colorado. The Avs might have nothing to play for when they face the Oilers on the 13th. Will they be resting players? I have no idea. It's their final, they got 2 games. It's their second final game of the year. The way Colorado's going right now, they probably could have first place locked up by then. So they might be resting some guys. So that might be a little bit of a benefit for you. The LA Kings should be desperate. They'll probably be hanging around, maybe in a playoff race. So the good news is you're facing a lot of the teams that you want to beat. So I don't mind the Oilers schedule. It's not overly hard, but it's not easy because the Oilers are not a consistent team. So I can't say anything about them is overly easy. This just coming in, and not a surprise. This we talked about before, Connor. When people said, "Oh, the Kraken, they're going to have to do very well because they're going to compete against the NBA." Well, the Kraken ownership group has launched One Roof Sports Entertainment. They're being become the majority owner of the Climate Pledge Arena, which basically means that they would then get the bid for NBA expansion team in Seattle, right? You own the facility. Guess where they're going to play? At the facility that you own. So that's not a surprise. Now you own the facility. Guess what? They're going to they kind of created a separate entity, split it up. So they have the Kraken, but now they have an arena deal separate. But so they kind of keep the two things separate, but at the same time, that'll guarantee that they will be the ones who, because nobody else is going to try to bring in an NBA expansion team if you don't have the facility. It's impossible. So this pretty much it guarantees it. Hey guys, so basically you're saying all the owners have to do is beat the Pacific teams? Yeah, all they got to do is bring a few pillows. Right now, think about a pillow fight. Many of you have been in a pillow fight. Now maybe it's been a while since you've been in a pillow fight, right? So at times you had different strategies in the pillow fight. Did you want to bunch up your pillows so you could get a bigger pillowcase to grab onto, right? You felt like you maybe had a little bit more leverage. So the bulk of the pillow was a little farther away from your hands, right? Like if you had a pillow fight and you didn't have much pillowcase to grab, it's not as powerful. Correct? So that's the strategy. I think the Oilers they just need a big enough pillowcase so they can get some leverage in the upcoming pillow fights. Vegas, Anaheim, Seattle, Vegas, San Jose, LA, Vancouver. 7 of 11 are in the pillow fight division. Chicago's not, Utah twice, and Colorado. That's all they play. So, like the road trips, there are 2 games this week, and then a 3-gamer. They're in Utah twice, San Jose, LA. So they've only got 5 road games in 4 different cities because they're in Utah twice. So yeah, I don't mind it. The great part about, and we can have fun with it. I know, the East thinks it's like a yearly occurrence, which tells me all I need to know about, like, when guys text me, and like, I'll be honest, some hockey reporters clearly only follow hockey. Well, no other league does this. And I'm kind of like, did the New York Yankees, did they not have tied for the most wins in Major League Baseball last year? Yeah, they did. 104. Did they get the number 2 or the number 3 seed? No. Then you look at the NFL. Carolina had 8 wins. Detroit and Minnesota had 9 wins. Didn't make the playoffs because Carolina made it in the NFL. And that's happened numerous times in different divisions. The Southeast division in the NFC, it's been a problem for a while. The South and the AFC was weak for a few years. It's happened way more frequently in the NFL. And they have fewer games. And it's happened. It's happened in NBA. Right? The West has had better teams overall, depth-wise, top to bottom. So it's not just the NHL. Okay, this year is a big outlier because of the Pacific Division. But that's not always the case. So for people who want to jump up and down, sometimes it's the loudest ones who don't really know what they're talking about, sadly. I would say, hey, this year, yes, Pacific Division hasn't been good. Last year, Calgary, 96 points, would have been 7th in the East. They didn't make the playoffs. They had 96 points. They'd have been 7th in the East. So I think I wouldn't get too concerned over, what your Eastern people are telling you about the playoffs and everything else. Okay. It's just not, this year it's a bad year for the Pacific Division. There's no arguing that. I don't debate it. It's how it is. It's unfortunate, but it's fair for everybody. Okay. That's just how it goes. So heck, Vancouver had 90 points last year. 1 point shy of the play. They had more points than every other non-playoff team in the East. So it's a weird year. I can't explain it. I don't think anybody was predicting the Pacific to be this weak, right? Remember the Southeast Division, Cons, when you had they're like 1 team out of 8 would make it. And they'd still get the number 3 seed. It happened all the time. But because it's not in the East, now it's suddenly a problem. Hey, Greg's, what about the LA Kings schedule? I haven't looked at the Kings. Well, I don't have it memorized, but pull it up very quickly. And so if you look at the LA Kings, hey, let's be, like you can say they have an easy schedule, but they got to win the game. So who do they play? They got Calgary and Vancouver this week, and then they got Utah at home. And then they've got 3 days off. Then they got a 6-game homestand. St. Louis, the surging Predators, then Toronto, then the Preds again. It's a weird road trip for Nashville. Then Vancouver and the Oilers. So you're right. They got the Blues, non-playoff team, Toronto, non-playoff team, Vancouver 3 times, Flames twice. So yeah, the Kings' schedule definitely favors them, no doubt. But they got to win the games. So yes, they could push here for sure. So yeah, the Kings' schedule on paper definitely looks easier. It's a very fair point. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. And we'll go out to the East where, man, the race just keeps getting closer. 2 weeks ago, 6 points separated. 4th place to 10th place. Now it's down to 3 if Ottawa can win tonight. We'll discuss it on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Brab and 118th.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Get your power play amped up with UL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. UL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, it's a classic tune, buddy. And my young son likes that song sometimes, listening in the car. I always try to introduce him some the music they used to listen to. I was old. He doesn't like all the songs, but he kind of likes that one. So a few times going to the game, he would put that one on. Little Take On Me by Aha. Great song. Very, very different video. Anybody who was watched it ever on Much Music or watched it online, it's different, to say the least. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. 53 years in business, they become one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta. Project, service, testing, and solar. They specialize in all at actionelectrical.net. As the playoff race 2 weeks ago, the 7 teams battling for 5 playoff spots were separated by 6 points. Fast forward to tonight. If the Ottawa Senators win, well, first of all, it's down to 5. But if they win, it's down to 3 points between all 6 of those teams. Montreal, Boston, Detroit, Ottawa, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and the Islanders. It is setting up for an outstanding race. And to touch on it from the Sick Podcast, Bruins beat reporter Jimmy Murphy joins us again. And Jimmy, it's a hell of a race. Jeremy Swayman, arguably maybe single-handedly helping the Bruins stay in this one. He's had himself a spectacular season. And is it too much to ask that he can carry them into the playoffs?
No, I mean, he's going to have to. I mean, I think they go as he goes right now. And luckily for them, he's going the right way since the Olympic break. He's been something else. He reminds me of how he looked. And I know they lost this series, but it was kind of when he emerged, and obviously it ended up leading to his contract. The series he played against the Florida Panthers, the Bruins lost in 6 games, but the Bruins had no business being in that series, and he just kept them in it, stole some games from him. And fast forward to now, after a disastrous year last year following the holdout, he's found his game again. And I give him a lot of credit, and I give goaltending coach Bob Essenza a lot of credit for helping him adapt as things won't go on here.
So what is it that he's played great, but what's the concern? What's with so many chances giving up? What are the Bruins doing wrong defensively that's allowing them to have to rely on their goalie so much?
Well, right now, you have to look at it this way. Sometimes, teams just don't have the pieces that fit a coach's system. And I think that at times this team is a little too risky for Marco Sturm's system. And it goes back the other way. And unless it's Swayman's making a great save, it's in the net. And that happens more specifically on the road this year, Jason. I mean, they've been brutal on the road. It's like night and day. They're record at home versus on the road. And for some reason, they just get a little more lax in a neutral zone, and it leads to so many turnovers. So that's hurt them a lot. But, this was one of the things that Don Sweeney, I reported numerous times. It wasn't just, on the blue line, he was looking for a top 4 defenseman, maybe they could fit in the second pairing on the right side there. They've never really got that stay-at-home guy they want there that they had in Brandon Carlo when they made that trade. Now they're happy they made that trade for sure, considering what it's done. But at the same time, he was looking for that. And I also think, he needs to strengthen up the team up the middle. He tried to do that as well at the deadline. They're unable to do it, and they got to make do with what they can. But, connecting that back to the Brandon Carlo trade, Fraser Minton has been a find for them, and it will be on the top line when he goes into face his former team in Toronto tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, that Brandon Carlo trade is the trade that keeps on giving for the Boston Bruins. No question.
Oh my God,
no question about it. Though it's funny, I'm sure the organization they're watching their team closely, but they're really watching the Toronto Maple Leafs to see where they finish, because that could impact the Carlo the trade even more with the pick.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of Bruins fans that in the last few weeks have decided to start cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs and not against them, because they don't want them to fall down into the lottery there and then the top 5 and them not be able to get that. So for sure, they're keeping a close eye on that. And, it just, I don't always agree with some of the free agent signings that Don Sweeney's done over the time as GM in Boston, but he's done a great job in trades. And really, he did a great job not only with that trade at the deadline last year, but also just replenishing the system and getting guys that are close to if not knocking right on the door of the NHL. I think Fraser Minton, nobody expected to see this, but they knew he was really close to becoming a regular. And so I'll give him credit where it's due.
Jimmy, looking at the Bruins, and you kind of got to go week to week here in the NHL. The schedule changes all the time, so they got the Leafs. Funny enough, Bruins fans are going to be torn. They're like, God, we need a win, but that could help us maybe lose a top 5 pick. So that's a tough one. But then you got Buffalo out on the road on Wednesday, Minnesota at home on Saturday, in Columbus, and then Dallas. Like, Buffalo, Minnesota, and Dallas. That's 3 of the top 5 teams in the National Hockey League. The remainder of March might make or break the Bruins.
Yeah, and look, that one you mentioned there too, that on the tail end of that back-to-back Saturday and Sunday, you get the Wild there, and yeah, it's at home, but it's still the Wild, a Stanley Cup contender, and then you have to fly out to Columbus, and you've got the Blue Jackets on the road there, and that's a team, that has just taken the NHL by storm since they made the coaching change and has really roared up the Eastern rankings here. So that's a tough little back-to-back right there that could really determine. And then, like you say, they come back, they face the Stars. So this could determine a lot for the Bruins. I think if you're looking at it, so there's a potential 10 points there, they'd be happy with 7 points. I think that they'll be really happy with that if they can come out of it with it.
How important is it to the fan base and organization, I think, to make the playoffs? Like, if they finish 9th, is it devastating, or is it smoothed over by the potential of that Brandon Carlo trade and what happens with the pick?
It's an interesting scenario here. I think, there's like real Bruins fans, the ones that have followed this team forever and didn't jump on, years leading into 2011, and then for that run of excellence that they had. I think they see the big picture, and they'll be fine, because I think they look at this. This is like, frosting on the cake having a season like this. Nobody expected this from the Bruins. They were looking like they were going into a retool/rebuild, and more, I would say, at this time last year, people were thinking more rebuild than retool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come out. A lot of guys are overachieving here, and they're seeing some good signs. Would it be great for some of the younger guys that haven't tasted the playoffs to get that experience in their development? Kind of like the Canadians did last year. And by no means am I putting them on the same trajectory as the Canadians. That's a whole other perfect rebuild. But I just think that the playoffs would be a good experience, but it's not the end of the world if they don't make it. I think real hockey fans around here understand that, and they're on the right track.
Looking at the Bruins and drafting for them, right? Like the last draft pick for them, Matthew Protas has played a few games in the NHL, but the last few years hasn't been great. Like Mason Lowry really got to go back to the 2020 draft for a regular guy. You got James Hagan, he was 7th overall. Some people are high on Will Moore. Can you give me an update? Like Dean Letourneau, is he injured this whole season? What's up with him?
Dean Letourneau? No, he's been great as a prospect. But the thing is, I think with him is they openly have admitted this, and a lot of scouts will tell you the same thing. He shouldn't have started last year in Boston College. He should have stayed back in Ontario playing there. And, he was just too young, and he was thrown into a team too that had national championship aspirations and that had a lot more proven college players and guys that potentially are on their way to stardom in the NHL. And it just wasn't good. He just couldn't get going. He was way behind the whole time. And he comes back, a credit to him. By all accounts, he made it a promise to himself to come back and live in Boston, be here as much as he could in the summer, work with the Bruins training program, work with the Boston College training program, and really just improve his strength, because he's already such a big frame already, but just put more muscle on there, get faster on the ice. And he's been great. Up until recently, he was a Hobey Baker nominee, and he's really taken it upon himself to utilize the big frame he has there. You watch him a lot. He's always parked right in front of the net. He's had a great year. But that being said, and going back to what we were saying before, Greg, that the big picture is still the focus here, and you don't want to rush that right now. So he's going to go back to BC. He's going to mature even more. He'll now be one of the elder statesmen because they have a really young team coming in, and it can build his leadership skills. And I think it's going to be great for him. And now the big question is, when is James Hagan going to sign? And is he signed with the Boston Bruins, or is it an ATO with Providence?
Yeah, well, fair question. And that was going to be my question for Hagen's. I've never loved it. Like, I think it benefits the team more than it benefits the players. These guys sign an entry-level deal. They play a few games. but then he can't play in the, you're not eligible to play in the playoffs. So what's the real big benefit there? Yeah, you burn a year of your ELC, but then if you don't have a good year at the ELC, it doesn't really do you anything. So I've always kind of been perplexed by that with players. What's your sense with Higgins? Does he want to burn that year of his entry-level deal, or would he rather go in the ATO and then get to play a lot of games in the American League and like on a very good Providence team?
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, I've heard a lot of different chatter going around on him in the last 24 to 48 hours regarding what the holdup is here. And I think today fans are just so excited when they have a new young player come in, and they haven't really had as you mentioned earlier, a really grade A prospect that can jump into their lineup. But, there's a feeling that the Bruins would like to put him in the AHL tryout there and just really, let him develop at the proper pace. The Providence Bruins are having an amazing season right now. They're primed for a really deep playoff run. And like we said, the Bruins might not even make the playoffs. And if they do, let's be real, they're probably 1-0.
Yeah.
So you look at it like, hey, this kid could go down. And not that I'm saying that he's at some of the players at the AHL's level yet, but he can go down there and at least he's playing with younger kids that have just gotten out of school themselves or just out of juniors. And he's familiar with some of these players from the National Development Program. Like it just seems like for his maturity path here, that would be the better option right now. I'm not saying that he couldn't come up and not make an impact, but as you said, there's so many cons as opposed to the pros in that situation. I think they got to just stay the course, but we'll see what happens. I put a couple texts out to his agent. I have not heard back yet. I wish I had more info for you. But that's the big decision, it seems, right now, is whether he's going to the A or he's going to the NHL.
And what about Michael DiPietro? Is he going to be the backup in Boston next year? I know Korpisalo's got 2 years left on his deal, but what are they going to do in goal there? Like, I can't see DiPietro clearing waivers again next year.
So, I was earlier crediting Don Sweeney for how well he does in terms of trading versus free agency. I'm not going to say that's a trade he regrets. I think it's one he had to get done. They felt, with Linus Ullmark going to Ottawa. And I think, to sweeten the deal, they took back Korpisalo there. I think we can all agree that's kind of a hefty cap hit for him. And he's had good stretches, but he's just been overall too inconsistent, just the way he was in Ottawa there. So, I think I know they've tried to, and I think they'd like to try again to find a taker for Korpisalo, maybe at the draft or early in the off season, and bring DiPietro in there. That's the one regret, I think, too. And then you can even factor in when you look back and it's saying that, hey, they had Brandon Bussey there too, right? And you look what he's become in Carolina. I don't think they want to mess up with another good potential young goaltender coming up the ranks here. And I think they'd rather get him here sooner than later.
Yeah. Wow. He's definitely, that's one to watch for me. His numbers are great down there. Again, he's a young goalie. There's no chance. Like, they were lucky cleared waivers this year. Like, I thought the Oilers should have claimed him.
I was shocked
at the start of the season. Like, I could not believe. I thought that we talked about that all summer. I'm like, come on, that's the guy to claim. It's a no-brainer. And they didn't. And, and I'm not saying, hey, in this system, the way they're playing defensively, it's not like he would have been great, but still would have been better. Quickly, Jimmy, give me your thoughts on Detroit, the Islanders, the Bruins, Columbus. They're all bad. Montreal's been in a pretty good spot, so not saying that they're safe by any stretch of the imagination because they have a tough schedule. But who do you like, I guess, or which two teams do you see not making it out of those seven?
Ooh, that's probably the $1 million question right now. And if I knew, I'd be on, whatever your gambling sponsor is, I'd be on their website right now making a lot of money. But, I look at those. I think Columbus is definitely in now. I mean, they could even finish second in the Metro there if they surpass the Penguins. The Wings are the team right there that I'm pretty worried about, to be honest. I think when they lost both centers, I know they got caught back now, but I mean, I think, Larkin's injury coming out of the gate after the Olympics really hurt. That was one of their strengths, that they were strong up the middle. And I just feel like that Olympic break, if there's one team in the NHL where that break came at the absolute wrong time, they were on a roll then. If you think back to that, they had finally arrived. Obviously they have never played a playoff game in Little Caesars, and I can imagine what those fans are thinking at that time. And they just haven't been able to find their footing since they got back. And that's probably the team I'm worried about the most. And I'll tell you this. I think the Ottawa Senators, let's say the Ottawa Senators make it in, and I think they're going to. Let's just say they're in the 8th slot there. I know Buffalo has been great, and I know that Carolina has been great, but that's an 8 seed that I'd be worried about if I'm the top seed coming into the playoffs.
Jimmy, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the next few weeks. Should be a great race in the East. Appreciate your time.
For sure, man. Appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good one.
There you go. That's Jimmy Murphy from Boston. The Bruins, well, there's a lot of teams, man, in the East who just, it's going to come down to, like, the next week could make or break it for a lot of them. So we'll see what happens. The Islanders and the Blue Jackets, though. The Blue Jackets. Come on. I'm rooting for Columbus. Like to see it. And I'd like to see the Sabres finish it off and win the Eastern Conference. We'll see. We'll come back with the stats of the day and more on the Gregor Show presented by Play Alberta.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
This is your moment to come on down and play for your chance to win over $300,000 in prizes. That's not all. Buy more, save more on select major appliances, up to $1,000 off. Save up to 40% on select mattresses and up to 25% on furniture. Plus, this Saturday, play for up to $1,000 off your purchase. Everyone who plays is a winner. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Contractors, spring cleanup is coming. It's time to get your lawnmowers, aerators, power rakes, lawn vacs, and more serviced at the Lawnmower Hospital. Hey, the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait in line later. Their service department gets crazy busy as the season rolls on, so get in now while it's calm. For quick service on top brands like Bluebird, Ryan Turf, Husqvarna, and more, check out lawnmowerhosp.com. The Lawnmower Hospital.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
This ad is presented by the United Conservative Caucus. The new Alberta-Ottawa energy deal will significantly expand Alberta's oil and gas production and create thousands of jobs, thanks to the leadership of Alberta's United Conservative MLAs. The consumer carbon tax is gone, the oil and gas production cap is eliminated, and the net zero electricity regulations are over. Let's keep Alberta strong and free. Visit unitedconservativecaucus.ca/surveys. From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here.
Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
4:50. Welcome back. We got one more song request coming up the next hour for you. Some of you talking about dance floor songs. That wasn't one of them. That's not going to get you on the dance floor. It's a fun song. It's a great song. It's not really going to get you on the dance floor. But we do have one that I think people will agree with. So that's coming up after 5 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It's a Gregor Show presented by Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta at playalberta.ca. We're going to get to the stats of the day in a second. We've got a lot of texts to get to. Hey, Greg, do you happen to know what the Oilers' record is when McDavid or Draisaitl are not in the lineup from Bobby? I do not. Are you talking all time? Like, obviously, back in 15-16, if you use that year, they were a bad team, so I'm not sure it's relevant. I would go for the last few years is what I would look at, and we could probably figure it out. Wouldn't be that challenging. But so far, Draisaitl, what are they, 2-2 without Draisaitl? Right, that's when did he get hurt at home? I can't remember when he got hurt. But because he's now missed, how many games has Draisaitl missed? 6. So did he get hurt in the game? Yeah, he got hurt in the Nashville game, my bad. So they're 1-2 without Draisaitl this year in games he hasn't started. Well, no, they played 3 other games missed 3 other games this season. I think they went 1-1-1 in those, if my memory is correct. So, yeah, we'll have to look at it. It's not. I'm going to say this: probably not a winning record. Although
1-2.
Yeah, 1-2 this year. But Draisaitl's missed 6 games, so they're 1-2 in the last 3. But I'm talking before then, the other 3. So, I know that when McDavid had missed 6 games back in 2020, the Oilers went 3-2-1 without him. Draisaitl had 12 points in those 6 games. So they might be a 500 team. We'll see. Now, let's get to the stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction. Founded in 2009, specializing in underground utilities, power, gas, telecommunications, street lining. They've grown into the largest contractor in their space, year-round employment. They shape and build Edmonton communities. That is All-Star Construction. And I know Oilers fans, you're a little nervous. You look at the schedule, like, oh my God, could the Oilers fall out of the playoffs? Nothing's guaranteed. We know it. The Oilers are in 3rd place in the Pacific Division as we speak. They got 11 games left. They got 77 points. They're 1 point back of Vegas, who they play on Thursday. They're 5 points back now of Anaheim. Anaheim does have a game in hand. So chance of the Oilers winning the division getting slimmer by the day. To gain 5 points in 11 games is pretty challenging. Right? The Oilers, they would have to go like 9-2. Right? That gets them 18 points. That puts them to 95. And Anaheim does not have the tiebreaker. They wouldn't have it. So they would need 14 points in their remaining 12 games. So they'd have to go 7-5. So think about that. They go 7-5. Edmonton has to go, 9-2. So not great. Right? Think about it. If Edmonton goes 8-3, then all the Ducks have to do is go 6-6. So it's going to be challenging to catch them. They got to beat them head up on Saturday for sure. But if you look at it, I just did March, and we can use the record. But in the month of March, the Oilers have 4 games remaining. Tomorrow, Utah. Thursday, Vegas. Saturday afternoon, home to the Ducks. Then 2 days off. And then the final day of March, next Tuesday, they take on the Seattle Kraken. The Oilers, in the last 3 years, are a combined 25-9 against those 2 teams, or those 4 teams. They're 4-0 against Utah. They're 6-3 against Vegas. They're 9-2 against Seattle, and 6-4 against Anaheim. This season alone, they are 6-2. 2-0 against Vegas, 1-0 against Utah, 2-1 against, they're 1-1 against the Ducks, and they're 2-1 against Seattle. So the numbers, these are teams the Oilers have had success against. And trust me, you feel that as a player. Now, Utah, on the other hand, is like, God, we got to beat them. We've never beat them. And the Oilers play in Utah twice. Once tomorrow, and then again in April. But if you're looking at recent numbers, the Oilers could have some success here at the end of the month. To me, they got to go at least 2-2. Now, obviously, Leon Draisaitl's out of the lineup, so that's a big blow. But you got to find a way to go 2-2 this month. Then you get into April, and you've got 4 home games, 3 road games. You've got the Blackhawks and the Canucks at home. My goodness, you better win those games. You got Vegas at home. It's always a tough game. Colorado, by that time, April 13th, Avs probably have home ice advantage in the conference locked up. They could be resting players very easily that day. And then you have 3 road games the week of the 6th. Utah, San Jose, LA. San Jose, that's got to be a must-win game. Not always a must-win game, as anybody who remembers that led to 5 months of growing my hair out. So I'm like, I can't guarantee a win, but it would be a win it should be a game you need to win. That LA Kings game, that might come down to it. That game on Saturday, the 11th of April, 2:00 Edmonton time, that could be the game that hinges on the Oilers season. Because right now, the Oilers have 77 points. The Kings are 4 points behind them. They're in 9th place. Seattle's 6 back. They're in chase mode. And Seattle's currently on a 6-game road trip from hell for them. They're playing some tough teams. They're not a great road team. They can't score. I don't see the Kraken really being a team that's going to be in the race. I think the Kings are the team that if anybody's coming from the outside to knock a team out, it's the Seattle Kraken. So that's the team not the Kraken, the Kings. That's who I'm worried about. Seattle, sorry. Good thing. Congratulations, one of the nicest guys around, Adam Larson. He will play his 1,000th game tomorrow night against the Panthers. We'll get into that in a second. But look at the Kraken schedule. So they started the road trip with a loss in Nashville. Then they lost in Columbus. Now they've got Florida tomorrow. Now, Florida has nothing to play for. But do you know what tomorrow night is? Paul Maurice, 2,000th game coached. Look at Florida. They went into Vancouver. You know what? Didn't play very well. Got spanked. Then they beat the Oilers because that's a game they could get up for. Then they lose to Calgary. Nothing game. Now they come home. You don't think that they're going to get up for their head coach, his 2,000th game? They will. That's going to be a hard game for the Kraken. Then they go into Tampa Bay and Buffalo, the 2 top teams in the Atlantic, 2 of the top 5 teams in the NHL. And then Seattle ends their road trip in Edmonton. By the time they get to Edmonton, they could be so far out it won't matter. But it's not a good start to the road trip for them, and it doesn't get easier. That Florida is going to be a tough place. And then Tampa and Buffalo, are you kidding me? Those are really hard places to win when you're a Seattle team that doesn't score. So I don't really concern myself very much with the Kraken. It's the Kings who it's a valid concern. They've got Calgary and Vancouver on the road this week. And now, hey, give the Flames credit. You know what? They found a way to beat Florida. Great. They play hard. They lost to Utah in overtime. So they've been battling, but they're not great. Then you got Utah, but LA's month of April is pretty favorable if you're a Kings fan, because you got 6 home games to start. St. Louis, Toronto, Vancouver, 3 non-playoff teams. They do have the Preds twice, and that might be a team they're battling for. So those are massive games for the Kings against the Predators, right? So the Preds, you don't really have to worry about a few of the orders because they can't catch you for third. LA's the only team that can catch you for third because I don't think Seattle. So those are the numbers to look for. The Kings then end the road trip or end the season with 3 games in 4 days, all on the road, but Seattle, Vancouver, and Calgary. All teams who I don't think are going to be playoff teams. So we shall see where it goes. The Oilers' schedule isn't easy, but recent and past history tells you they've had success against Utah, Vegas, Anaheim, and Seattle. And then they've got the Sharks, and they've got the Canucks, and you got the Blackhawks in April. It probably won't be pretty. I don't even know if the Oilers, are they going to get to 90 points? If they go 6-5, they don't get to 90 points. They have to go 6-4-1 to get to 90 points. You'd like to think they could get to 90 points, but that's what they have to. Let's get to the Con Man and the Sports 1440 update. That was our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. Con Man, Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. You're looking for a vehicle? Ooh, it's going to get cold out. I've got the brand new Autoplex indoors. It's huge. You can get a fantastic deal as March Madness continues right now at northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just one game in the NHL tonight. Puck drop 5:30. Rangers hosting the Sens in the association. Toronto Raptors in action, traveling to Salt Lake City, taking on the Jazz just after 7. Warriors in Dallas. Blazers hosting Nets, and the Bucks taking on the Clippers. March Madness on the female side. Just wrapping up. Kentucky leads West Virginia 74-73, and at halftime, it's all UConn as they lead Syracuse 65-12. Earlier today, Virginia advancing as did Notre Dame and Louisville. Later tonight, you got UCLA taking on Oklahoma State. Number 1, South Carolina battles USC, and number 7, Illinois taking on number 2, Vanderbilt. From the NFL today, Kansas City Chiefs signing tight end Travis Kelce to a 3-year extension with $54.7 million. The Blue Jays announcing extensions for GM Ross Atkins on a 5-year deal and manager John Schneider for 2 years. And at the Miami Open, Canada's Victoria Mboko earned a fourth round win over Russia's Mira Andreeva earlier today and will advance to the quarterfinals tomorrow, where she'll take on Carolina Makova. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Condors forward Connor Clattenburg, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward combos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777.
I always try to introduce
That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with the 5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sgsaints.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French. Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
CTV Sundays. Television's most captivating love story continues on Sullivan's Crossing.
It's hard to focus on the present when you're still looking at the past.
But the road ahead takes an unexpected turn.
But I thought you'd mentioned being married before.
A lot's changed since then.
Morgan Cohan and Chad Michael Murray in the drama that asks, is true love enough? An all-new Sullivan's Crossing, Sundays on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta because I want it all.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
5:06. Welcome back. Cons or Declan, somebody, Mackenzie. How long has Syracuse gone without scoring a point in this game? Every time I look up on the screen, they still, finally it ended. They got to 14 points. Like, I'd like to know actual run time that Syracuse just went without scoring a point. That's amazingly bad offensive. Like, I don't care who you're playing. You're in March Madness. You should at least know how to score some points for God. Like, the score is 70-14 right now.
So Mackenzie said it was 8 minutes.
Of runtime, that's it?
And then UConn hits a three right after.
It was only 8 minutes that they went without a point?
Yeah.
We're in the second half. Like, they got 14 points in a game. Like, God, that is awful. Awful execution. You could tell me, is UConn better? Sure, but come on. You got to find a way to score some points in the tournament. That's brutal. Anyway, welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remind you, tomorrow night, the Mark Letestu, $55 million up for grabs in Lotto Max. And for Max Millions, you get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. Of course, the lone game in the National Hockey League, and it is a big one if you're an Ottawa Senators fan, because the Sens win, and they move to within 2 points of 8th place New York Islanders with the game in hand. They'll be in 10th place, though, as the Red Wings will be 1 point up on them. So down to the final 12 games of the season, the Islanders the only one with 11, and man, it's going to be a great race in the Eastern Conference. As we get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, and they are hiring. And for top man operators and more, apply today if you're looking for not just a job, but a career at gsconstruction.ca. Look up careers. As Mark Spector joins us from Utah. Spec, it's sunny there, snowy, what's happening?
Blue sky. I'm just looking out the window. Yeah, it's actually nice. People walking around in t-shirts. Kind of nice down here. Mountains. I think the ski hills are only about 45 minutes away.
Yes, close. Have you been to that arena before?
Yeah, once. Yeah,
okay.
I was there last year at one point.
Yeah. Well, now they got the Renos, right? So here it's even nicer. And Oilers have never lost to the Utah franchise. They are 4-0 in their history. Really? The Oilers are actually the remaining games this month. They're 6-2 against those teams this year: Vegas, Utah, Anaheim, and Seattle, and actually 25-9 over the last 3 seasons. So as bad as things look for the Oilers right now, although the Tampa game I didn't think was that bad. I thought there were stretches where they played well. It was their top line, actually, that did not have a good game and got outscored 2-0 at 5-on-5. We're on the ice for the shorthanded goal, which was really, the change in the guard there. Bouchard hits the crossbar. A few seconds later, they turn it over. And, Kucherov gets a breakaway, and it's pretty much good night, Irene, at that point.
Yeah, that turned the game. I mean, Tampa walks out, I think, looking like the better team.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty fair. A little bit of bad luck. They had the better goalie. Vasilevsky was above average in that game, and I would say Ingram was good, but not great. I'm not blaming it on him, but Vasilevsky was better. Made more, 10 bell saves. So, which is the surprise because he's a great goalie. So, listen, I guess I'd ask you this, Jay. Like, they're not flipping the switch here, right? We're 71 games in. The Oilers haven't found it yet. They're not finding it here before 82 games are over. Are they? Are they in the next 10 games? Are they going to find their game without Draisaitl, with Jari in the tank? Like, is it going to happen?
Well, their offense is definitely not going to be at the level I think that you would expect without Draisaitl. But that doesn't mean you can't play good defense just because he's not in the game.
Well, they haven't played it yet this year for an extended period. Period.
I agree. Do I think that the thing about this team, Spec, is like, look at last week. They played two pretty good games. The week before, they played two really good games in Vegas and Colorado, and then they stink out the joint again. So honestly, the old Forrest Gump line is very apropos when discussing the Oilers, right? Life is like an Oilers game. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, well, that's the point, though. The good teams find their game and play it for at least a 2-week stretch.
Yeah,
and they, they've been trying for 71 games to find a good game that hangs around for 2 weeks. And we've watched this team put together months of solid hockey, like a full month, for a few years now. But this team hasn't. This team's barely put together. That's why they've only won 3 in a row once, because they really haven't put together a great week yet. And we're how many weeks into the season are we here, man? And they haven't been able to do it yet. So I have a hard time thinking that it's all going to come together. I really do. Sorry. I've come from the show me state. Like, I've been looking and watching and seeking, and it hadn't been there yet. And we got 10 games left. So going to start now?
No, it's a fair point. Tristan Jarry is going to play on the road. I think he's going to play tomorrow. When do you think he's going to play?
Yeah, I think he's going to play tomorrow too. I don't think they're going to trust him with the Vegas game. They're going to play tomorrow. The other thing is, different goalies and coaches have different views on teams who play on goalies playing their old team. We saw Skinner not play against Edmonton when Edmonton was in Pittsburgh, right?
Well, no, the second when they came to Edmonton, he didn't play.
The second one. That's right. He played the first one. Excuse me, the second one. And I think that if I'm going to give Jari or if I'm going to give Ingram a rest, doing it against his old team is probably the best place to do it. I bet you Jari plays tomorrow.
Okay, and that would be his first career game against Utah. He's never played them, so maybe that's the boost. And he's like, hey, it's not like I know that Knobloch came out and said Ingram's their starting goaltender. I don't know how sold that is in Penn, to be honest. If Tristan Jarry has a really good game, Spec. Connor Ingram, if he doesn't have a good game in Vegas, I could see them go back to Jarry on Saturday. Honestly, they need wins right now. Like, if Jarry plays well, I think it's an open competition very quickly. Now, if Ingram plays well in Vegas, then he probably gets to start again. But I wouldn't be shocked if Jarry plays well on Tuesday, which is a big if. And Ingram's just okay that Jarry plays on Saturday.
Oh, for sure. Listen, this team would love nothing better than to get Jarry back. They're facing the prospect now of wondering if Jarry's going to even be their backup the way he's played. He's been a mess. His game's no good, and it's mental. I don't believe it's physical. I don't believe there's an injury. I think it's mental, and if they could find a little traction for this guy, you bet they'll run him out again quick. Absolutely. And to me, it starts with the team playing a lockdown game in front of them. They haven't given them that yet. They don't play any good in front of Jarry. They haven't played any good in front of Jarry, and Jarry hasn't been any good behind them. So it has to start with the team giving him a chance to have a really good game. If you think he's going to get out of this thing by coming out and giving you a game where he stops 35 pucks and 12 grade A's and is goalie of the week, it ain't happening. The way a goalie gets out of these things is you play a good game in front of him. You give him a chance to be good. He gets through a game. He lets in one or two. He starts feeling better about himself, and then you repeat that. And frankly, we're back to the Oilers trying to repeat good hockey. They haven't repeated it in front of Jarry twice in a row. So that's what they need to do. If he's going to be any good for them, they got to give him a chance to be good, in my opinion.
Get any update on Frederick?
No, I wasn't even at practice today, brother. I was flying.
Okay.
I wasn't. I saw the McDavid stuff and the Knobloch stuff and everything, but I did not get an update on Frederick. No.
What did you make of the McDavid post game and then the McDavid post practice today?
Well, I think he summed it up post practice today. He said, "I didn't mean it that way, but I could see how people saw it that way." Listen, I absolutely saw it that way the second it came out of his mouth. Like, listen, and I wrote this. I spent a career going in dressing rooms, and one thing I know is if you were going to do a feature on Kucherov and you wanted to write a really great piece on him, and I read your piece today, it was good. You're not going to get great stuff from the Oilers after he just put up a 4-point night and beat him. That's not the time to go into the Oilers dressing room and ask about Kucherov. So for McDavid to wax on not once but twice about what a great coach Cooper is and how well his team's rehearsed and all that stuff, the first thing I thought was, boy, that's a strange time to be hearing that. That's what I thought. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, because I asked him the first one about it, and it was more so like because it was asking because the Kucherov line really had kind of dominated the Oilers' top line that night. Like,
yes, they did, absolutely,
in 7 minutes. But even the other lines, right? He only outshot the third pair defenseman 2-1. That was it, right? He was their line had a tough night in shot suppression and as well as goals for and against, and it was just kind of a rare off night for them. And it also led to the penalty kill goal. They were on the ice for that one too. So I thought it was to me it illustrated the frustration. I felt it looked like, oh, you know what, geez, look at they're doing, and you know what, we have this and we don't have that, and you know what, sure, they have a great goaltender. He doesn't like that was the line about, oh, you know what, if it does break down, you got a great goalie. So he was outlining their team, but I sensed that there was a little bit of frustration, which is kind of what I sensed, that frustration is mounting in Edmonton.
Yes,
and there's a lot on the line here for a lot of people in the organization, because if this season, I think spec minimum, if they don't get to the conference final, I could see the owner saying, you know what, I'm making some significant change here. It wouldn't surprise me, because Connor McDavid, obviously the organization wants to sign him to whether it's 2 years at a time, whatever it is, but they want to re-sign him. And if you kind of flame out this year, every year that goes by, McDavid's internal pressure, I think, heightens. Not saying it's right, it's fair, but he wants to win. And if he doesn't win, all of a sudden now he looks at it as a year wasted. Regardless of injuries, everything else, he looks at a year wasted. So now you say, well, geez, now we got to make some other moves here. Some people are unhappy. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the owner, regardless of who's signed for contracts or not, make some significant moves that don't just revolve around players. Potential coaching changes, management changes as well. I could honestly see that happening.
Well, I'll tell you this, like, there's a couple things for me. I think that Edmonton isn't far off of Florida. Like, I think the 2 long runs followed by this compact season. I think this compact season has exacerbated all the hockey they've played. And I'm not making an excuse. I don't make excuses for the Oilers, but I honestly believe that the worst thing for the Oilers after 2 years of playing 4 rounds was an Olympic season where the games are crunched in together like it's been. So, yeah, I think they deserve a little bit of a break on that front. Okay, I said it. Here's the deal. Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson have absolutely wasted 2 July 1st, okay? 2 July 1st have passed where they haven't improved their team a lick. A lick. And then Bowman went out and made the worst trade in the National Hockey League this season and hurt his team, not intentionally. They're a worse team from the Jari trade. Yep. So they've wasted 3 massive opportunities. Did he get Podkolzin? Yeah. Did he get Emberson? Sure. Did he make this?
Roslovic? Sure. Kapanen?
Great. Yeah. He's really been good on the little pieces. But I'll tell you what, July 1st, when you're trying to win cups, it's massive. And the Oilers have absolutely peed away 2 of them in a row. And then the goalie trade was a disaster. So why aren't the Oilers better than they should be? Because Bowman's had a rough ride here, folks. And I like Stan. And I said when he came here, I think he's a good GM, and I think he'll do a good job, and I would have hired him. But I'll tell you what, the jury's back on his work. I know he wasn't around for the first July 1st. I don't know if he wasn't pulling the strings for Jeff Jackson, but that Skinner and Arvidsson did not help your team win. And the last free agency they had was not any good. They had to trade Mangiapane, and they signed Frederick on July 1st. None of those 4 players are helping you win, Jason.
Yeah. What do you make of Dickinson, man? Like, the more I watch him, like, he's a guy I look and say, God, like, he's a really good third line center. The key is, yes, re-sign him. You just can't go too much in term. You just can't.
Oh, okay. How about this? When do you start using Jason Dickinson the way most coaches would use Jason Dickinson? To play against Celebrini, to play against Kucherov, to play against their best player? When do you use him as a shutdown center?
Well, he played 5.5 minutes, and McDavid played 6 and 54, right, against Kucherov. But you kind of split it.
How'd that go for McDavid?
I agree with you. Hey, I was the one who pointed out. I talked about it at the game. So could you have changed it more? You're trailing in the game, so that's always the challenge. But I think it's a fair question to look and say, hey, that line was getting the best of us. Sorry, we're going to pivot here. It's a hard decision, but and it's rare. I get it. It's very rare for the McDavid line. Like, I went through all his games, Spec. I never seen him get outshot that bad in a game before. So it's an outlier. So maybe the coach isn't looking at it too in depth. But if it happens again, you, especially on home ice, you have to use that matchup to your advantage. Dickinson, and it wasn't just Dickinson; it was Murphy and Nurse as well. Like, Nurse played the most minutes against Kucherov, wasn't on the goal. It was only on ice for 2 shots against in 7 minutes and a half. McDavid was on the ice for 13 shots against in under 7 minutes.
Yeah, big picture, right? Big picture. McDavid 5-on-5 this year, his goal differential's plus 11, right? The guys he's in the scoring race with, Kucherov, McKinnon, they're like plus 40. Okay. So in my opinion, it's not been a great year for Connor McDavid in the role that they use him in. They always play him against the best players. They never play someone else and save McDavid for second or third pairs. They don't do that in Edmonton. They never have. Now you got Dickinson, who is a certified shutdown centerman. You haven't ever had one of those. Now you got one, right? Why? At what point do we look at what we've been doing here and saying, at least this season it's not working so swell? You know, it's not working so swell. The McDavid line, whoever he's usually playing with the same guys, they're not outscoring everybody by a whole bunch here, Jason, and they haven't all season. So at what point do you say we finally got the center we want? He's going to take, instead of going 7 and 5, he's going to get 10, and McDavid's going to get 3. And those other minutes, McDavid's playing against second and third and fourth lines. When are we doing that?
Yeah. Wow. It's actually even worse. McDavid's only plus 2 5-on-5, 64 to 62. And McKinnon is plus 56, 88, 32. Kucherov is plus 39, 78 to 39. Yeah. Now you look up.
So it's even worse. He's plus, wait a second. He's plus 2. I must have looked it up at evens, not 5-on-5. I did. Excuse me. I misspoke. Evens, not 5-on-5. Whatever. You're telling me that 5-on-5, he's plus 2 this season at 5-on-5, and he's in the Art Ross Trophy race.
Yes.
That's what you're telling me.
64 and 6. Now, the goals against, obviously, are a number. But, hey, Brock Faber, they have really good goaltending in Minnesota, and he's been on for 62 as well. No, I'm just saying it's goals against is part of it. But, hey, McDavid's been on the ice for 24 fewer goals for than Nathan McKinnon. 24. It's pretty significant.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. But, I mean, and I'm not just trying to beat up on Connor, but my point is, obviously, the deployment is not working. Connor McDavid's supposed to be 40 goals ahead of what he's given up. I mean, that's if Connor McDavid's even, oh my God, like he's plus 2 and he could win the Art Ross Trophy and he's plus 2 at 5-on-5. Are we just going to keep doing the same thing here? Are you not going to change that?
It's a valid question. It is
a
valid
ridiculous statistic.
Yeah. Yes, it's a valid question for sure. Spec, we'll find out about Jari and more on the Oilers lineup and see what the D pairs are tomorrow. So we'll touch on that. Have a good one.
Sounds good, Jade.
There you go. That is Mark Spector. Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, Connor Clattenburg is back in action. He'll join us next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This is your moment to come on down and play for your chance to win over $300,000 in prizes. But that's not all. Buy more, save more on select major appliances. Up to $1,000 off. Save up to 40% on select mattresses and up to 25% on furniture. Plus, this Saturday, play for up to $1,000 off your purchase. Everyone who plays is a winner. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Select the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Running a business is tough. Finding new customers shouldn't be. Stop chasing leads. Let them come to you with Stingray, offering you access to more digital, outdoor, and traditional advertising platforms, including radio, connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out-of-home. So while you're closing the next deal, Stingray is working for you to deliver more leads, more customers, more sales. It's that easy. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and always be closing.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:28. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day as we get to our HL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. You can bundle them and save even more at legacyheating.ca. As we are joined by a member of the Oilers organization, of course, made his Oilers debut earlier this season, scored a goal. Back in the American League, unfortunately injured his hand, was out for a lengthy period of time, but finally returned to action earlier this month with the Condors. Connor Clattenburg joins us. Connor, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I know last time I talked in the press box, is about your left hand and kind of a freak injury in a fight. It wasn't from punching. It was actually from grabbing and twisting the guy. And you're supposed to be out 2 months and pretty much almost 2 months of the day, an extra week. How frustrating was it considering, just how good the first half of the year went for you to get injured in a play like that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a frustrating play, and you never know when something like that can happen. But the first half of the year was going so well and accomplished a lot, and now just focused on getting back to what I was doing before and get back to that play I was doing.
Now, I don't know, Connor, every player, you have to believe in yourself, no question. But when you were training in the off season, you knew you were turning pro, was playing in the NHL, was that like a real main focus point or were you just like, hey, I'm turning pro, I just want to kind of make a name for myself in the American League?
Yeah, I was just focusing on myself and just step by step. And I just wanted to make my name for myself in the AHL level and see where that took me. And I was just fortunate enough to get the call early, and it just shows that I'm doing the right things, and I just got to keep doing that.
So what did you learn most about your time in the NHL that you feel the areas of your game you want to work on, so next year when you come to camp, you could make the team out of camp?
Yeah, I just want to continue and be a better defensive player, a full 200-foot player, and just be strong with the puck, strong holding the puck and on the walls. And it was a great time, great experience with Edmonton, and I learned a lot of little things from the older guys around and the coaches, and I can just take all that little experience into the off season, the rest of this year, and just get ready for the next training camp.
The tenacity that you play with, it really stood out. It resonated with Oilers fans. They haven't had a lot of players like that. It's a real blue collar town. They've always liked guys who just give everything they've got. Where did that come from for you? Was that always like from a young kid when you played? Was that there, or is that something you've just kind of elevated and kind of morphed into your game over time?
Yeah, I've always been the aggressive kid. Just growing up playing hockey, and kind of all started when I started out in junior, and I just had to find a way to keep staying in the lineup and playing a different way from everyone else. And just from there kind of took off, and I got recognition getting to the Sens camp, and I just knew this was something that a lot of teams need, and it's something that could take me the distance. And I just want to keep growing that way, and also learn the right way to play hockey and the skill game too, but not shy away from what I can be true to be doing.
The area that you bring to your game with that tenacity and fearlessness, there's not a lot of guys who do it, right? So that seems to come natural to you. So, is it, this might sound like an odd question, but to focus and really work on the skill stuff, you can say, like, I don't really need to work on the agitator. I know how to do that. So now it's like, okay, I got noticed. Now I can really, hone in on skill development as much as anything else.
Yeah, of course. I've kind of been doing this hard physical style for a few years now, and it's kind of in my blood, and it's kind of becoming natural to me. And just the little skills that will just build my game to the next level, and just make me more of a versatile player, and can play up and down the lineup and do whatever the team needs me to do. So that's just my focus right now, and I know it'll just take me to the next level.
Connor Clattenburg joins us. Connor, what about when you wore the C with Flint? I don't know if you'd worn lots of letters as a kid growing up. Being a leader, guys lead for different ways. It always doesn't have to be the Connor McDavid most skilled guy on the team, right? But a lot of times that's how it is growing up. What was that honor like for you when you got to wear the C, and how did it maybe help you as a player and a leader when you had to wear a captaincy?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true just to get a C, and it's always something I want to represent. And I was happy to do it, and I like to show it on the ice, and just the hard, nasty play. And I just want to kind of show the other guys I'm there for them, and just off ice too, just always being for the younger guys or any of the older guys too, if they ever needed something, to just be right there. And just I want to keep being that better person, and keeping improving that skill too off the ice, and it's all going to translate to on ice too. And I just want to fight for all the guys I play with.
Now, speaking of fighting, obviously in the AHL, there's a limit of fights before you get a suspension. Is that in the back of your mind at all when you're playing?
Yeah, I definitely heard a few words about getting close to it, and honestly, it's if it happens, it happens, and it's part of my game, and it's something I got to deal with. And it's my first year, and just making a name for myself. And if I end up getting suspended, that's how it goes. But that's just my style, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. And if it happens, it happens.
You'd sat out for 2 months, Connor. Can you describe the excitement? Like, did you feel like a young kid back on March 13th when you finally got back in the lineup in Texas?
Yeah, I was definitely itching. I wanted to get back a weekend before, but it was too soon. And I was just itching the whole time to get back playing with the guys, and I just want to battle with them. And it feels great to be back. And now it's just kind of getting the tuning pieces and getting back up to the speed, and just back to what I was doing the first half of the year.
You look at your team, and you guys are comfortably right now in fourth place in the Pacific Division. Looks like you're going to make the playoffs, but obviously, you got Coachella and Henderson right behind, and even the San Diego Gulls. And so, as a player, you look at this down the stretch. There's not many games left, but you want to get going. What do you like about how the Condors are playing right now? And are there areas as a team you think you guys need to improve on down the stretch?
Yeah, we're a really offensive team, and we can really punish teams on the scoreboard. But we also got to find ways to keep it over net. We've had a tough few games, just giving up some goals, but it's just dialing into what the coach has for us and what the game plan is. And this team can be a deadly team. We got a little bit of everything, and it's a good mash of guys. And yeah, we just got to dial into what our coach gives us and keep fighting to this final stretch.
Connor Clattenburg joins us. So Connor, when you got called up, kind of walk me through that moment, probably a little bit unexpected, maybe in your first year as a pro, not a high draft pick. There's not a lot of guys who get right into the NHL at a young age. Who called you to let you know you were going? And then who were the first calls you made after that?
Yeah, it was unexpected. We're on a road trip, so I didn't have much with me, but I'm just heading to the rink for a pregame skate, and KG pulled me off and just said, "You're going up." And yeah, that was a very unexpected moment, and I didn't think it would ever come this soon, but I just instantly called my dad, just had to let him know, and my mom too, and just their excitement. That's just kind of when it set in, and just trying to get them down for the game was another struggle, but they got it all done, and I'm just happy they could all be there. And yeah, it was quite the moment for all of us.
How were your nerves for your first NHL game?
Yeah, it was. I couldn't sleep the night before, especially playing against the Stanley Cup final team, and they always have a battle of thumbs. So it's just a lot of excitement, adrenaline, and just being nervous. You want to do good, and yeah. But I think just once I settled in with the guys the day of the game, and a few of them said some words to me, and yeah, once I hit warm-ups, it kind of just felt real, and this is just go time now. So I had to focus on the game and just help the boys where I could.
And then your second game at home in Edmonton, you score your first NHL goal. Obviously, you know what? Hey, you want to win the game first and foremost, but that's the dream come true for every player. Like, to get to the NHL is one thing, but to score that first goal for you, it was the first goal of the game for the Oilers, guys, to ignite the crowd a little bit. What's going through your mind even after that game? Are you still able to enjoy it even though you lose?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough game to swallow, and I know it would have been a lot better to win it, but yeah, it's just a little accomplishment, and it's something that will stick with you forever. And I got to enjoy it with a few guys, and I just want to bring the spark to that city, and there's no better place to do it than that home rink. And yeah, it was pretty special, and it's something I'm never going to let go of.
Connor Clattenburg joins us. And Connor, a lot of people, they listen, a lot of kids, they see the Connor McDavids, and everybody wants to be Connor McDavid. I'm sure Connor Clattenburg wishes he could be Connor McDavid, but it's not realistic for 99.9% of players. You know what? Your kind of path and journey to the NHL is one that's, I think, a lot more realistic for people, not any less difficult. But the truth of the matter is there's very few elite players, but I'm looking at your stats and other teams you played on. You're always a physical player. You weren't necessarily like the superstar offensive guy, but you still led your team in scoring at I think it was U15 and such. So, even though you're not a big time scorer at the pro level, even, you were a good scorer, kind of a top scorer. When did you kind of realize that, okay, you know what, I've got skill, but I need to add that other dimension if I want to go to the next level? Like, when did you kind of have that realization as a player?
Yeah, and I think it all kind of hit that first year in junior in the Sioux, and
okay.
It definitely wasn't easy to get points up or anything like that, and just that role I had, and I know the guys appreciate it, the coaches appreciate it, and it was just something I liked doing. So I knew I've seen a lot of undrafted guys playing the NHL, and a lot of guys that have many games just playing a certain role, and I know there's a lot of need for guys like that, and that's something I'm willing to do and I want to do, and that's just something I'm going to stick to, and just keep being the best player I can be, and see where it takes me. But I know my role and what I can do, and I'm just going to stick to that and see where it takes me.
Now, going through your draft year, had you talked to the Oilers a lot? Were you expecting them to take you in the 5th round in 2024?
No, I honestly I haven't talked to any teams really until the end of the year, and I talked to the Oilers once, just briefly online and just with the Zoom call, and I didn't really know what to take with it, and so I ended up committing to another camp somewhere else, and the same day I was traveling is when I found out I was going to the Oilers. So yeah, it was pretty special, and I had no idea at all, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
So you had actually committed to an NHL camp before day 2 of the draft?
Yeah, I committed probably a few days before, and told them I'd be there, just not thinking anything would happen. And the day I got picked, it was the day I was traveling down. So it was pretty crazy.
Oh my God! So yeah, I'm sure they probably knew right away. Okay, I guess he's not coming to our team. When you get drafted, obviously everything changes. Now you're like, okay, you know what? Like I'm one step closer. Now I got to work on things. Are there certain elements of your game on ice that you look and say, okay, this coming summer, I want to work on my board play, or I want to work on, something. What are some of the things you're going to work on this summer?
Yeah, I mean, this first year pro, it's definitely eye-opening to what I need to work on and what's different about this league. And I think the big thing for me is just on first touch, just get moving and be strong on the walls, protecting the pucks. And I just want to feel more comfortable with the puck on my stick and be able to make plays offensively. And I think that'd make me more of an effective player. And I just want to be quicker off the first 3 steps too. And that's just going to be some things that I put into summer work.
Well, Connor, continued success. I know Oiler fans are, they love your style of play, and hope to see you next year and continued success in Bakersfield. Hope you guys have a good long run in the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's Connor Clattenburg. That's an awesome story, man. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm committed. It's going to go to a development camp. Now, if he's driving there, it's obviously out in the Eastern time zone, maybe Ottawa potentially, because he's from around there. And then he gets drafted. All of a sudden, put on the brakes. You guys got to go back home because now he had to get on a plane and go out to Edmonton. So didn't even go to the draft. I love it. There's a guy who was like, I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to focus on myself, and gets drafted and was in the NHL. He was drafted as a 19-year-old in the NHL the following year in 25-26. And now we'll see where it goes from here. But the style that he brings is something the organization desperately lacks. And I think he knows the thing I like about him is he's around the net. Like, look, he scored a goal in 5 games, and he missed another wide open net in another game. He could have had 2 goals in 5 games because he's around the net. He goes to the tough areas, and he plays with an edge, and he's physical. He gets noticed. So you look at a guy like that, and you keep working on your skill set. Like if I'm Connor Clattenburg, I'm calling up Zach Hyman this summer and saying, hey, can I come work out with you for a few weeks? Like you never want to disrupt guys too much training, but the veterans love it if a young guy takes the initiative and calls him. And Connor Clattenburg can say, hey, man, like, I want to learn some things from Zach Hyman around the net because that's what he's going to bring, right? He's going to bring a physical element for sure. Hyman was a 5th-round pick. Not saying he's ever going to be Hyman, but why couldn't he improve on it? So those are some areas I'd work on. And Clattenburg's a guy to think down the future because he fills a role and he brings energy and emotion to a team that doesn't have a ton of it. Take a quick break. We'll come back with Cam Tate on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical Team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Diamond Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena, the Silent Ice Center. A new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder with over $3 million raised for local charities. And his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.49, we roll through. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Tomorrow, Oilers in Utah. We'll break it all down. Of course, Tristan Jarry going to get the start tomorrow night. I could see it happening. I think it would make sense. It's going to get one of these starts on the road. I would think it could be tomorrow night. Oilers are 4-0 against Utah all time in their brief franchise history. So try to continue that tomorrow. Will there be new D pairs? We shall see. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's a bit of legacy at legacyheating.ca. Here is Cam Tate.
Frustration. It's life's Rubik's Cube. Some twist harder, some throw it across the room, and some just quietly stew. No, really, I love this. Maybe you're a door slammer, turning printer jams into a full-blown WWE audition. Or a yeller, broadcasting your rage like a car alarm no one's turning off. Or maybe you're the silent type, retreating to your cave with a side of sarcasm. But here's the thing, frustration doesn't solve itself. You can keep banging the vending machine, or you can step back, breathe, and maybe, just maybe, find the coin slot. Life's messy, tangled, and yes, frustrating. But how you handle it? That's the real puzzle. To say Connor McDavid isn't frustrated is like saying the ice district doesn't get cold. Come on, it's Edmonton. Can you blame him? The guy gave this city a Lodge Brother home deal, and I'm starting to think signing a goalie who can stop a beach ball wasn't in the fine print. If it wasn't, it should have been written in neon. Here's the reality check. Nikita Kucherov, 3 points ahead of McDavid. And McDavid, 3 goals in his last 10 games. His wingman, Leon Draisaitl, Low Tide's glimmer twin, is out with an injury. Oh, and it's the last week of March. The clock is ticking. And the Oilers, the team that once lost a Stanley Cup final by a single goal in Game 7, yeah, they're flirting with missing the playoffs. So if McDavid wants to call out the coach, drop the mitts, or scream into the void, let him. This isn't a tantrum, it's a battle cry. The guy cares. He cares about bringing a Stanley Cup to Edmonton, even if he has to drag the team there himself. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Halley, Kruger. Sports 1440.
Frustration is mounting. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know if it'll be solved in the regular season. I really think it's only going to be solved if the Oilers have some success in the playoffs. Now, they got to make it there, but that's going to be the key to salvaging this season, is if they can find a way to get some consistency in the playoffs. That's it. Like, that's been their Achilles heel. They haven't been able to find any sort of consistent play in the regular season, right? We've all seen it. You've all watched the games with me. This is not new. And whether or not they can find it, we won't know until if they get to the playoffs. And then the playoffs will begin on, for them, either April 19th or the 20th, most likely. So we'll see what happens between now and then. The Oilers, 4 more games this month against teams they've had success against a lot this year and the last few years, but no Draisaitl, so it makes it harder. Utah, Vegas, on the road, Anaheim, Seattle, at home. It's going to be a fun week, right? Because you'll have a pretty good sense of where the Oilers are in just a week. Can they turn it around? Can Tristan Jarry make a save? Can they play a consistent defensive effort for more than one game, or maybe sometimes 2? That's why we play the games, boys and girls. We'll see what happens. Connor Halley will get you updated on the lone game in the National Hockey League. It does have significant playoff implications if you're an Ottawa Senators fan. Also, Mika Zibanejad, congratulations, game 1,000. All his teammates showed up with the wigs with the Zibanejad long hair. It's pretty funny. So on behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Oilers, Utah, and a busy slate, 15 games in the National Hockey League. Let's get to the comment on Sports 1440. Update brought to you by E-Well, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, think EWEL.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The lone game tonight in the NHL, just getting going in New York. Rangers send scoreless. Ottawa right now 4 points back to the final wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. In the association, Raptors in Salt Lake City taking on the Jazz. Tip-off 7 o'clock. Couple games underway right now. Lakers trail the Pistons 40-35 in the second quarter. Also in the second, Pacers up on the Magic 42-39, and the Thunder have a 48-35 lead in Philadelphia. Heat at home trail the Spurs 49-39, and early on, Hawks up on the Grizz 18-11. Later tonight, Bulls host the Rockets. Warriors taking on the Mavs. Trailblazers take on the Nets, and the Bucks in LA for a matchup with the Clippers. Just one game going on in the Women's March Madness brackets. Vanderbilt leading Illinois 36-25 at halftime. Earlier today, Virginia gets past Iowa. Notre Dame victorious over Ohio State, and it was UConn beating up on Syracuse 98-45. In the NFL, Chiefs signing tight end Travis Kelce to a 3-year contract extension worth just over $54 million. The Toronto Blue Jays announced contract extensions for both GM Ross Atkins and manager John Schneider ahead of the 2026 season. Atkins reached a 5-year deal with the team, while Schneider got a 2-year extension. And at the Miami Open, Canada's Victoria Mboko earned a 4th-round win over Russia's Mira Andreeva. Earlier today, she'll advance to the quarterfinals tomorrow to take on Carolina Makova. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it's Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius here on Sports 1440. You can also watch on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports